we got to go live and repeat it, you know?
All right, how's it going, my magnificent sons of bitches? And I'm only here on YouTube right now. I'll have to post this up on my Facebooks and whatnot because fuck paying for StreamYard. I'm thinking about going into Entropy. I want to go ahead and expand to other platforms, which is Rumble. But I have Stephen Rose and I have Dark Horse here with me right now, and both of us, or all of us, all three of us, uh, see the big tech kind of collapsing. It's just not the same. And so, it's nice to have a conversation with Dark Horse. We used to do videos quite a bit. And then, of course, Stephen Rose.
Yep.
I'll go ahead and pass the microphone off to Dark Horse real quick because I know that it's probably been a while since we've done a video together, man.
Oh yeah, I mean it's been, I don't know, was it last year? Did we do anything last year? I don't remember. But as far as the topic goes, I was telling you, I remember back in 2013, you could come on YouTube. You could, I mean, when you type something in, you could type it in, you could look it up. It's like now when you go, if like I wanted to look up that stuff about Libya, you can't find it. Like you can't fucking find shit that used to be so easily accessible. Of course, Google owns YouTube, so they censor the fuck out of everything. And so now certain things you try to find, it's like it's mission impossible, you know? And I miss the good old days when you could just come on YouTube and it was actually about the YouTuber, not already famous celebrities that have already made it. And, I don't want to get too far caught up as far as going on about it, but we'll get to that in a minute, I'm sure. But I just miss the good old days of YouTube. It's not what it was.
Can I go ahead and add into that? I want to actually, this is the problem. YouTube used to be a platform where smaller content makers that were non-news affiliates sort of could give like a third-party perspective on issues that we felt could bring us more together from the everyday Joe, the 9-to-5 Joe the plumber you never heard of. And so what essentially had happened after the 2017 apocalypse, the ad revenue apocalypse, you can slowly starting to see like big tech started to make its way in with production companies and news outlets. And then they got to the point to where they started blacklisting a lot of us YouTubers to where, it's crazy that videos I made 6-7 years ago can still get views and comments. And I'm just hitting swipe right because I'm not responding to those old videos. But yet a current video I can upload can only get maybe 100 views on a good day. And that's even depending on if the title is catchy or not. I mean, some days I champion 50 views now. Like if I can get 50 views, I consider that a win. But back, it's just crazy. Go ahead.
Oh, and I could totally agree with both of y'all. Like whenever I go on YouTube, not only as a content creator, and I really don't make a lot of content anymore because why would I waste my time? Since my channel has been ultimately my biggest channel has been, completely terminated. And it wasn't the first channel that I've had on YouTube that was completely terminated. But when you put that much effort into work that you do and try to accumulate an audience and trying to accumulate subscribers and trying to be a little bit edgy and have a different opinion, and you put that much work into a channel for, these collaborators that are here in, positions of power that make the decisions, these arbitrators at YouTube, these, they're generic anyways. For them to just go ahead and take away all your hard work that you put into a channel and all the material that you put into a channel, it's not worth my time putting out any quality on this platform. I myself prefer, like I told you, Steven, on your channel, I prefer going to Rumble and looking up where I don't got to worry about these generic commercials. And like Dark Horse said, you have all these new celebrities and stuff that couldn't make it in their own, little avenues and whatnot. Now opening up YouTube channels and trying
I was talking like about people like Daniel Cormier. He's like a former UFC light heavyweight champion, heavyweight champion. This motherfucker has a commentator job with the UFC. I believe he's got a show called the DC and RC show or something like that. He used to have a show with somebody else. I mean, he's got multiple sources of income. This motherfucker, he don't need a YouTube channel. but he's already got a built-in fan base, so of course, so why not?
Facts.
Greedy little bastard, fat short bastard, gonna have to come get a YouTube channel now. And so that's for like somebody that would want to talk MMA. Well, you're not going to get that much attention because you got Chael's son and you got Daniel Cormier. You've got like all these former fighters, or even some of them are still current fighters. They're taking that whole piece of YouTube. It's already established people.
So can I ask you this? Do you think if you unless you're grandfathered into this YouTube, like, which is a very small percentage of YouTubers, unless you're passing off some sort of narrative or something, which tends to be pro-leftist propaganda, it's kind of hard for like 95% of the YouTubers to just upload regular content. Like, they've pretty much blacklisted. It's like, for example, if let's say I was famous and I said, you know what, I'm going to go to YouTube, I highly doubt they're going to blacklist my channel unless I'm saying something against like the main narrative, they'll probably allow me to have content. But let's say it's some Joe Blow wanted to upload to YouTube tomorrow, well, then he's shit out of luck. And I think that's the part that's frustrating. I don't mind these big, these techs. I mean, these big production companies, or let's say movie stars or celebrities or something coming on YouTube. It's a platform for everybody. But it's like, well, damn, well, then why the hell am I blacklisted and they're not? That's the part that's pissing me off,
And they get favored in the damn algorithm. And the whole thing is that, like, okay, you look at a guy like, Pat McAfee. I like Pat McAfee. Don't get me wrong.
I do too.
He's got a decent show. But at the end of the day, basically, they're copying the shit that we were doing for the most part. You know what I'm saying?
I used to think you were crazy when you would say that. Now I see it clearly.
Yeah.
Just to let you know.
Yeah, that's exactly what they're doing. They're copying the same shit, the same formulas, the stuff that we did. Ultimately back in, I'd say 2013, 2014, well, even back in 2012 and stuff like that, we would do our little work and we would do our little shoots and we would work together. And it was basically and ultimately working together to try and get interest into our channel. And ultimately, I think that, for the most part, the internet culture, the internet culture was, the culture war was actually won by people like us. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't even close.
Absolutely.
Donald Trump got into office. It was everybody that was on YouTube, that was on Facebook, that was on Twitter, that was being edgy, that was being out there. It was breaking the monotony, and you cannot repeat that same. You can't repeat that same formula. And this is why I say that even with these new celebrities coming out, like your Cormier and your McAfee's and stuff, I'm starting to see their views go down as well. And this is also affecting the what you would call the grandfather in channels like QIP. Their fucking views suck, dude. But there's not a lot of traffic.
What about like PewDiePie or whatever? Like, what about him?
PewDiePie even on YouTube anymore? Is he even still here? I mean, but like, I see it, but, think about it. And I'll go ahead and kick this back to Dark Horse here in a second, but I want to ask both of y'all, and then you can go ahead and pass it back to Stephen Rose. You get on YouTube now, right? Used to, we didn't even have commercials back in the days. We would cut a shoot, we would cut a promo, we would, tag our videos on somebody else's channel and whatnot, do video responses. It was cool. It was a little bit edgy, you know what I'm saying? But now you click on a video of some person that's reading a random article out somewhere on the internet. It's generic as hell. A lot of their videos are kind of generic anyway. And, this is why a lot of them I click off of. Like, I'll click on a video if I think that I'll be interested in it, but then I'll click off immediately because you know what one of the first things that pops up within like the first 2 or 3 minutes? A fucking advertisement. And then the advertisement is even more cringier than I don't know if it's more cringier than the video because I'm not going to make it all the way through the video. Let's just put it that way. All right. And I see these, even the independent YouTube creators that are coming out here trying to make a quick buck, trying to do the whole, clickbait titles and crap like this that they put into their videos right now. And then, you get one of these cringy commercials, and it's like, well, you just wasted this much of my time. And then I move on to like watching some of the content creators that I know personally that have made the transition, the leap to Rumble. I'll go to watch their stuff on Rumble because I don't have to worry about the same distractions. How do you feel about that, Dark Horse, whenever you're watching YouTube nowadays?
Well, I mean, it's a good business move. I mean, they're getting paid, and the alternative to that now is, well, if you don't want to watch the commercials, well, you can pay for YouTube Premium, and I don't even know how much a month that is. But I mean, yeah, it sucks because it sometimes it's like the commercial comes on right at the most interesting moment of the video, and you're like, fuck, like get the fuck out of here. Even if it's 5 seconds, it's like it ruins the video, in my opinion. Like
And
you
here's
get
the worst
invested
part.
in.
And here's
Yeah.
the worst part. When you have two ads and they're each 15 seconds apiece and it doesn't give you the option to skip.
Oh yeah, that sucks.
Oh,
Yeah, I've had several of those. It's like, get the fuck
and
off
and,
my
and,
screen,
and
man.
I'll tell you what's worse. Sometimes if it's a video that's like 30 minutes of rambling, so you want to kind of fast forward and get to the important part. You just went through an ad, then you fast forward to only go through another two ads again.
Yeah, you're like, shit, that didn't work out too well for me, but
Yeah, I'm not paying to take the ads off because I shouldn't have to. And not only that, but they're now rumors they want to start charging independent content makers just to be able to be on like a subscription, almost like a monthly subscription next
on
year.
YouTube,
Yep, that's what I've been hearing.
well, fuck YouTube then. Guess I'm leaving.
Yeah.
I mean, how much do they try and charge people? That's
I
ridiculous.
think it's something like $7.99, $8.99, but like a Netflix thing. But I'm not doing it.
No, I mean, if you're making money off of it, I guess, but you need to be making good money off of it. And that's basically what it's going to come down to. Is going to keep going that direction. It's like, I mean, I'll get into the politics a little bit, like Ben Shapiro, right? I was a big fan of Ben Shapiro. I mean, he was talking the talk. He was talking a good game all those years, and now he's got his fucking Daily Wire bullshit, and they're starting to get involved in something they need to stay the fuck out of. It's that making a murderer stuff. They're trying to go against what the show did, and that I don't know if you followed it, but Stephen Avery is innocent, and they're going to try and say he's guilty, and the feds were involved in all that. I'm not going to go into the details. I'm just saying that Candace Owens should have stuck with Black Lives Matter. Fuck that bitch.
And I want to say, I want to say something here to that effect too. While you're sitting there talking about Candace Owens and the Daily Wire, these are the guys who end up trying to push us off. As much as fucking TYT and these leftist shills, these other corporate because I think Steven Crowder and Ben Shapiro and the Daily Wire were going back and forth, where Ben Shapiro was expressing how they're it's a uniparty type system, and Ben Shapiro and those people, your Matt Walshes, don't want any competition on this platform no more than anybody else does. And it's interesting what you're saying, Dark Horse, about the making of a killer, and that's pretty much one of the reasons why I titled this video the way I did, the making of a Shill, is that it looks like they're trying to change the narrative and the perspective. The general accepted perspective is that Steve Avery is innocent, and now the Candace Owens and the Ben Shapiros and whatnot are trying to chill out and go with the opposite, I guess what you'd say, the affirmative. What I'm saying?
There's a clip that she did, and it's on Twitter. What they're doing is they're using this for their Daily Wire Plus, which is obviously subscription based. You got to pay for it. So they're going to use this to milk money from their subscribers. But she already got one major detail wrong. She said when Stephen Avery was arrested in '85, he was accused of a rape. They never did any investigation. They just immediately accused him of doing it. Around '03, they did a DNA test, and it was somebody else. Turned out it was somebody else they already had in their system. And these fuckers were told it was that guy. I think they got like a call in '95, and they said it's not Stephen Avery. I forget the guy's name who did it, but it took them he had to spend 18 years in prison. So when he gets out, he's going to sue the fuck out of Manitowoc County for $36 million. And 2 weeks before the higher ups are set to testify, this Teresa Hallback disappears. And right on, of course, right? Stephen Avery's the last one that she saw. Then they immediately, same thing. They accuse him of doing it. They shut down his property. They investigate. The corrupt cops that were from before were allowed to come onto the crime scene, but they told the coroner, the medical coroner, who had no dealings with the previous case from 18 years, where he served 18 years, they told her she came on that scene, the sheriff threatened to fire her ass. So that don't tell you how corrupt that whole thing is. This is what I'm saying. Candace Owens needs to stick with Black Lives Matter, because there's a lot of details. I followed this for years. There's a lot of things that show he's not guilty. Like they got his nephew to confess. His nephew's got an IQ of 70, fucking 70. When you watch the interrogation, they literally lead him. They tell him she was shot in the head. And then, where was she shot in the head? Oh, in the garage. And then after that, they found bullets, but it was proven that like these were bullets that were shot through through the building, because it had pieces of wood on it. So that's what I'm saying. I've seen it all. They're gonna try and spin it and say he's guilty, but if you followed that for a long time, you know what the deal is. So
Well,
I think they're gonna kill their credibility and go right fucking head.
I hate to sit there. I hate to sit there and break Candace Owen or Ben Shapiro's heart or whatnot. But if they're trying to market this shit on Twitter, that's fucking stupid. Because nobody on Twitter is in the market of buying shit. You know what I'm saying?
It's like a preview trailer like thing, but it's gonna be on their app.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but you said it was on their Twitter.
And yeah, like a trailer for it or something.
Yeah, and so Twitter is a marketplace of media shills, which media shills are trying to sell their own line of fucking bullshit. Nobody's in the market of buying the shit. Everybody's in the market of selling their shit. So there's nobody that's gonna go on Twitter and see Candace Owens' little fucking Twitter post and say, "Oh, I need to follow Candace Owens and shit." This is the first time really I heard about it. Was whenever you were telling me about it. But see, there along goes the same old line of why these big tech companies are failing, is because ultimately, Stephen Rose, this is the first time that you're hearing about it too, right?
Absolutely.
Oh, well, if y'all have Netflix, I'm sorry. I really recommend watching Making a Murder. There's 2 parts. I'll just saying, I really recommend watching that. But yeah, go ahead, Paulson.
I'm gonna say we're the target audience that they're trying to, they're trying to get to invest in their product. If Stephen Rose and myself are not singing any of their advertisements, there's something wrong with the platform that they're trying to advertise on. You know what I'm saying, Dark Horse?
Yeah. Well, on the Twitter where she put it on, there's her own followers are starting to saying oh, so you got new physical evidence from 05, 06. I scroll down and just constantly, that's all you see is negative comments towards her. So once they actually start producing the videos, it's going to be pretty bad for Daily Wire. I'm pretty sure they may lose subscribers over this, because a lot of people think the man didn't do it. He's served now a combined 36 years in prison for shit he didn't even do.
Yeah.
Yeah, this makes his second 18-year term.
Okay. Can I ask you guys a question? And this is, since we're talking about Candace Owens and all that, and Charlie Kirk and all these, I'm a big fan of Charlie Kirk, by the way. We got a new one named Kristen Hawkins. I kind of watch a little bit of her content. She mainly, goes to these schools promoting about anti-abortion or whatever. And, I'm a big fan of Candace Owens, and Ben Shapiro. I like them a lot. A lot of their talking points I agree with, because I believe in a lot of what they say. my question is, I feel like because I know they're part of the conservative media, and I understand that, I feel like conservatives over the years have kind of dropped the ball in terms of, um, I don't know. At first, I felt like we were fighting for our right for censorship, for our ability to be able to voice our opinions without, trying to fight cancel culture. And I really feel like they sort of steered away from that, even like Brandon Tatum and all these guys. Now they're just fighting over like transgender identity and who go to which bathroom. Topics I think are really sort of irrelevant, or maybe I'm wrong. And I just feel like that they sort of go to these schools arguing against pro-leftist 18-year-old nut jobs that really could care less what they think anyway. I just feel like a lot of what they're doing is sort of a waste of time. And I feel like the real issues we should be talking about is the flat tax law, bills like that can help the Americans save on inflation and stuff like that. Like the real issues I feel like the conservatives were talking about 5, 6 years ago, I feel like they sort of steered away from that. And they're talking about who can go in whose bathroom and sort of like, and argue about anti-abortion, which I get abortion is important, but I just feel like these topics they're going after are sort of back burner discussions. And I feel like the
Well,
forefront should be how to turn this country around. I'll go ahead and let both of you give your opinion. Who wants to go first?
I
You can
mean,
go ahead, Dark.
well, I think there's conflicting issues here. So, would you say women's rights are important, Stephen? Like, you know,
Women's rights in terms of like equal like opportunity, not equal outcome,
yeah, yeah, equal opportunity, right?
but
Well,
not equal
how
outcome.
is it? But how is it equal opportunity if a man dresses up as a woman and doesn't get any kind of sex change or anything? He's got full blown testosterone in his body, and he's
Oh,
competing
facts.
in a woman's sport. I don't know if you've heard of this Riley Gaines woman, but she
Yeah,
came out and I forget the dude's name that's claiming to be a girl, but went into their sport and won first place. That took the opportunity from a lot of women. Riley Gaines could have been the winner there, but
oh
she
yeah,
said
absolutely.
she said that in their dressing locker room they had to watch him undress, and he was damn balls. his
Dick and
his
balls, yeah.
private parts dangling all over the place. And I mean, she acts like it, like it traumatized her, which maybe it did. I'm just saying that I don't think that is right. They
I don't think
shouldn't
that's
be.
right either.
We shouldn't be doing this now. As far as the conservatives being anti, was it cancel culture? But then what they do to Bud Light, they turn around and try to cancel it. That is hypocritical. I do think.
Yeah.
I do think so. Because
Yeah.
if you're going to say you're anti cancel culture, then don't practice what you preach against. So I do see the hypocrisy there. Um, and Paulson, this could lead right into you because you've always told me it's always about the distractions, the little shit that they do to distract the people from the more important issues.
Facts.
Yeah, definitely. And like a lot of that stuff should be handled at an institutional level. I agree totally with you about dark horses with these quote unquote transgenders, these guys that pretend to be females going into sports and dominating those sports, whether it be UFC or whether it be a swimming event or whatever it be. That should not be the case. It's not even up for discussion. I'm not willing to entertain the idea. I'm tired of dealing with the less insanity on
Facts.
these. So that being said, we go with the abortion thing, which I've already said the left cut their own throat as far as the abortion argument goes. They have no more platform to stand on. It should be handled at the state level. There's no reason to sit there and have these geriatric debates with leftist simps over there that try to use this in the mainstream media to accumulate any kind of views. If California wants to live, have all this abortion and, whatever it is, then California as a state, I can't say anything about that. But, here in Texas, I'm going to keep voting for, my Ted Cruz's, my John Cornyn's, and, if they ban it here, there isn't anything that I can do about it. You made your case with the quote unquote commie cough VAXX, and so you killed that ultimate any kind of platform that you had. The deal is that, and to a degree, Stephen Rose is right. We have an issue with inflation. We have a lot of people, especially in the workplace. This is going to be very, very interesting. You have the Inflation Reduction Act, which is going to end up taxing a lot of these smaller businesses, maybe even out of business. They're trying to pass legislation right now to go ahead and protect that. And, hopefully these businesses don't collapse like that and people don't lose their jobs, because I guarantee you that a lot of these people are entitled right now. Stephen Rose, you're a supervisor. I'm a supervisor.
Yeah.
We have to deal with a lot of these people every day. I have to deal with people, and they have this sense of self-entitlement. And, I come across a Young Turks video where a transgender person had flipped over the table at your boy, Charlie Kirk. And they said, well, you better be prepared because it's going to get a lot worse. I'm going to tell you right now, the last thing that any of you leftist ideologues want is a civil conflict, because there's no way that you'd be able to sustain anything. Like I said, working with these people, understanding how these particular ideologies, the LGBTQ people cannot get along with the BLM people. The BLM people cannot get along with the feminazi people. The feminazi people can't get along with the LGBTQ. The socialists can't get along with the BLM.
So
and all these
they're fighting in their own group.
Right, they're fighting in their own group. The sad thing is, and I'm pretty sure that you'll be able to, verify this. They're more able to work with somebody like us, right, than they are with each other. That I've noticed. Like, because I consider myself more of an independent anti-federalist guy, but I have a buddy that's a big-time Trump supporter. They can all work with us a lot better than they can work with each other, dude. So, how are you going to mount any kind of real resistance? It just doesn't make any sense. But yet the media and big tech, the little facilitators that, do the community guidelines and the fact checkers on Facebook and stuff like that, they advocate and they, go ahead and push on these people and they put them up there, especially like in the algorithms and whatnot here on YouTube. But the sheer fact is that they're all lying to you. You know what I'm saying? There's no way, and like I said, I see it every day because I work with these people as a supervisor. And, you have to maintain a balance. I can't be prejudiced or, I can't play favoritism to the guy that's a Trump supporter just because he's a Trump supporter. You know what I'm saying? You got to manage your, and have different, you're going to have different rapports with each of these people because they're different people. You know what I'm saying? And you've all got to work together to make this project work. But, these people, they're so extreme against each other. It's like Lord of the Flies. That's what I call every time I go into work. I say it's like Lord of the Flies. Y'all are just plotting on each other all the time. Instead of just showing up, doing your job, y'all are not going to agree on everything, but just show up, do your job, go home, and then you don't have to worry about it anymore. No, I'm telling you, it's hard to keep anything going, and it's hard to manage anything whenever the shit's like this all the time.
And here's the thing: what Polston said that I kind of agree. Now we're on this particular topic. People fight about wanting more money, then you give them more money and the same results. If not, it's worse. Like, in other words, they'll still call in. It doesn't really motivate them to put any more effort. And in fact, now they got their whole secure the bag moment where they got their money, accumulated it, and just feel like, okay, well, I could just give half-ass credit and I'm still being paid for it. So what does it really matter for me to have to earn? Why should I put in more work when I'm already making the money anyway? And I think you're starting to see this.
I can tell you a great person to answer this is Dark Horse, because Dark Horse you work at DoorDash still, right? You do DoorDash, right?
Yeah.
So when you go to these places now, these restaurants, and I've talked to this, Stephen Rose has had this issue and I've had this issue and we've discussed it. I don't go into these restaurants anymore because the customer service is horrible. But you have to go to these places. These want $15 an hour minimum wage to do less. And it's like, McDonald's and a lot of these companies have raised their wages up, go ahead and meet that demand so they could get these people in here, but they've become less efficient. You know what I'm saying? I bet you probably got some stories to say, doing with DoorDash.
Well, I've actually recently changed my mind on that. because I was thinking about it, like, yeah, at first it was ridiculous. These fuckers asking $15 an hour to flip burgers, but I see every day when I go in there, and there's some people absolutely not. They're fucking lazy. It's very obvious they're fucking lazy. But I've come to know some of these people that work in these McDonald's and Papa John's, and they had to push out these orders, man. They're busting their ass and they're working really hard. And I would say those people, the actual hard workers, they deserve 15 an hour if they can afford it. Their employer can afford it. Good for them. But there's people you'll see standing around with a thumb up their ass.
Yep.
No, man, they don't deserve that.
Well,
Fuck
well,
'em.
I think,
Get the fuck
here's
out.
the issue. I think here's the issue, and I've told Polston this. I think we can all agree on this. The problem is not the raises. The problem is that hard work doesn't really have any rewards. So everybody kind of makes the same, right? Everybody gets the same pay, the same outcome, meaning like we all get raises. So if me, Polson, or Dark Horse are in the room, we're on assembly line, and they're like, okay, you guys are all starting off at 15 an hour, even though Polston and Dark Horse got more work experience than me, but Polston's got more work experience than Dark Horse. We're all going to make 15 an hour, and we're all going to get the same raise, $1 raise every 6 months. And that's just sort of like what the policy is. Well, I'm pretty sure one or two of us are going to be like, well, fuck it. If we're all going to get the same outcome, why should I have the same work results as this guy? I can work less and still get the same pay. Why should I have to put in the effort? And that's what you're seeing at these jobs. And it's not just on an employee level. I've seen some bosses do this too. And what's frustrating is it throws the work on a small percentage of people. I've seen this at Walmart. If you took most of the employees, I would say maybe 20%, put it 100%, and the rest of them just work at maybe 60% and below.
Yeah, I mean, it's like
go
I
ahead.
get orders. But I do Uber Eats. I get orders at Walmart sometimes. Walmart is one of the worst places. I sat out for almost a fucking hour one day, waiting on 2 orders,
Facts.
and they never brought it out. They only had one guy bringing orders out, and the parking lot was full. It's like where they have the orange signs, where with the numbers on them for you to pull up to take, the delivery orders. And I tried to call him. It went straight to voicemail. I'm like, I tried to call him multiple times. I finally said, "Fuck it," canceled the orders and left. Yeah, I mean, and that's more of a management issue there, to only have one guy working and overworking that one guy. That's where the management should come in and either have more people scheduled or have more people just there to work. But yeah,
That, or
I
not
mean,
only that, but the manager should step in and work. And the problem is a lot of them just want to manage and walk around, but they don't want to chip in and work. And that's the problem me and some of my managers were talking about the other day. You got like 30 managers on shift for the whole store, and maybe only like 5 of them chip in to help. And the rest of them are just walking around micromanaging. I'm like, dude, we're short staffed. You need to jump in and help. This ain't 1990, where you can.
Stephen, it's like, whenever you have these employees, they're like, oh, well, Stephen Rose ass kissed his way to the top, or Polston ass kissed his way to the top. And that's like we were awarded these, like we had some sort of privilege to get our positions. They don't realize that I was working like 16 hours, do a 8-hour turnaround just to come back and work another 12 hours, just to come back and do another 8-hour turnaround to work another 12 hours.
And not to mention, you turned down the supervisor position like I did multiple times. We only took it because we just said, fuck it, if we're going to be here all the time, might as well get rewarded for it.
Yeah, and so
I can speak firsthand that Polson, I mean, you were working a lot of fucking hours, so you definitely deserve, if you whatever position you have at your job, you deserve it because you've worked, man, and busted your ass. I know I always haven't, but I finally found the job for me. I can just say that I finally found the job, and then people might say that's your dream job. Yeah, for me, having a job that I can make my own schedule, do come and go as I please, make the money that I'm happy with the money I make. I'm happy with the job I have. So
what's
for
the
me,
only
it's
downside of your job, like doing Uber? Like what's the down? I know there's a lot of ups with tips. What's the downside of it? Is there any?
with Uber Eats, they'll send you fucking 15 miles and they won't hardly pay you shit. So you gotta pass through jobs. Like if it's not worth it, the the idea is $1 per mile. So if it's a $15 job, all right, most I'll drive is 15 miles. You know, you don't want to double it up because then you're losing money. You know, and gas sure is fucking cheap nowadays. So like I sometimes maybe like today I did a $9 job for 11 miles, but if it's kind of close like that, it's like every now and then okay. But that's they send a lot of fucking low paying orders. There's a lot of customers that don't tip worth a shit. You'll go to a damn mansion and then $2 tip. I'm like, come on, fucker, you could do better than that. I've took pictures of houses, couldn't even fit the whole damn house into my camera, like where I was positioned. That's how big the house was, and they didn't tip shit. It's like, so that to me, that's some, but I'm not one of these drivers that'll go, oh, they didn't tip, I'm taking their food. No, fuck that. I took the order for the pay that I saw on the screen. I'm going to do the job that I, agreed to do when I accepted the order.
So it tells you how much you make in tips before you even go out.
Well, DoorDash, it tells you everything that you make up front. So, but with Uber, you can get extra tips. Uber's better about tips, and sometimes it comes in hours after the fact.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, I got a $50 tip with Uber. That's my best tip ever.
In one order?
So, yeah. No. That was DoorDash. But yeah. Right after when I signed it out. So sometimes with DoorDash, there are hidden tips. So what it might show, maybe $20, I ended up making $50-something on that order with the $50 tip.
So what about repairs on your vehicle?
No. What I'm saying, like it might show like how much ever for the order. I don't remember how much it showed. I remember it was a $50 tip, but I didn't know it was a $50 tip till I closed the order out. After I handed the customer his food, then it showed me. I'm like, I said, thank you, dude. Thank you so much. Like I went out of my way to thank that guy because not everybody tips like that.
Damn. So, what about your vehicle wear and tear on the car? Do you put a lot of miles on it?
Yeah. Yeah. I did my taxes and it was like 18. Well, I think it was like 28,000 miles I put on it.
Damn. Yep. That's the only bad thing about it is the miles.
Well, I mean, I got the car for pretty cheap, so I'm just planning ahead to buy another car,
Nice.
That's what I'm gonna do. That's my goal, at least. Get my own place, get a new car, and that's just kind of I'm planning it out.
Are you still planning to move to Florida?
I would love to, but you know what? Fuck hurricane season. No, I don't know. We came back from vacation 2 years ago, and we went through St. Petersburg. You know that bridge? You probably don't, but it's a big ass bridge you cross over going through St. Petersburg. I found out, and I even videoed when we drove over it. I found out I found it this year, but last year a big wave came through and collapsed that bridge, a big fucking bridge. And it's shit like that I'm like, I know we have tornadoes in Georgia and but hurricane season's pretty much every year. And I love the Florida area, but the parts I like probably bound to get hit, and it's going to be pretty costly to repair your house every time something comes through. So that's the only thing keeping me from going to Florida.
I drove through a tornado yesterday, or day before yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, but as far as doing DoorDash in Florida, like if I could do it in Panama City or something like that, I'd make a killing, dude. With all the tourists and everything, I'd make a lot of money down there.
Yeah, but like that's just kind of the way the society's gone today. Is just all these guys, and especially and I don't know about y'all because I don't really get on YouTube a lot, but whenever I do see these content creators, particularly in the I guess what you'd call it, the Tri-WC, which is now taking over the YWC, because I say that these guys try to be like we were in the YWC, but they just lack a lot of interest. I know that Steven is still involved with the wrestling community to a degree, But do you watch a lot of these YouTubers that do in the YWC anymore at all?
I mean, I've watched what's that Gilmore guy? You know, the guy who's been coming after us, and then what's that other dude? I watched a
Peter,
little bit of
Peter Gilmore?
Will Ferrell in the comment section.
Yeah, in the comment section.
Yeah.
You talking about Peter Gilmore?
Yeah, he's been coming out. I don't know.
Wow, he's still doing that shit.
Yeah, talking about it's our fault that he was called a pedo for going after Brittany. I'm like, dude, what are you talking about? He's like, now all these people are coming after me, and I'll never forgive the both of you. You and Polson and Dark Horse started this shit.
I didn't start that shit. He fucking did it in the public live chat.
Yeah, I was just like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? He blamed me, you, and Polston. He said we're going to pay for that.
No, that had nothing to do with any of us. It was a stream that was done on a certain somebody's channel from Texas, Big Boy Chase. And ZTB, y'all probably don't know, but he came on there and wanted to make a big deal out of it after the fact. I didn't have anything to do with that shit.
Yeah.
Neither did you guys.
Place is. So,
yeah, you don't know who they are.
I mean, he tried to warn me, try to say if you guys don't, if this doesn't stop, I'm going to dox you guys. I'm like, okay, well, do what you got to do. Wow. I just said, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, man. He just said, I'm just giving you a warning if it doesn't stop.
Yeah, that's weird. He just commented on a video I did. He responded to my comment and didn't say shit to me. So I don't know.
I don't know what's up his ass, man. He claims that people are coming after him because of us, because of shit we started. I'm like, dude, he's like, it was 10 years ago. I'm like, I don't even remember that shit. I'm like, they called me a pedo for going after a 14-year-old. I said, well, I don't remember saying that, but if you did, then I guess I meant it. I don't know what this dude's talking about.
What happened was he was trying to get a bunch of his friends to go after certain people, and they turned on him because the people that he was trying to get them to go after said he did this thing with the pedophile shit. So it didn't have nothing to do with us. It wasn't nothing to do with any of us. I don't know why he's blaming you guys and me. I don't know why. But I always say, like, I've come to realize you can leave the drama, but they're always going to talk about you. It'll never stop.
It will never stop. Time, you know, Hiroshima or Daniel or whatever the fuck. I can't pronounce his fucking YouTube name at the time. Hiroshima. I'm sure he still talks to me from time to time. Talks about me. You know, it is what it is. You know, but like I said, there yet again, YouTube just doesn't have that traffic like they used to anymore. We used to work together pretty well, come up with good storylines,
good works,
yeah. And now these guys just read articles, like especially because I was telling you about this. I had a video where I think that out of the 43 college football bowl games, I started, actually it's probably more like 47 or 48, 49, 50, something like that, because I started with the championship games for the conference championships. I think I only missed like 5 for the whole season and whatnot, because that's how predictable the college football sport has gotten, including the Georgia-Alabama outcome. And so that's what I was telling Dark Horse, is that everything's gotten to be so generic and predictable now that, if I don't have that much interest in like the, which I'll watch the draft, don't get me wrong, I'm going to watch the NFL draft. But, our channel is one of the two. But, if I don't have that much interest in the sport anymore, or like the professional wrestling business, then 9 times out of 10, I'm not going to watch somebody's opinion on it. You know what I'm saying? And so that's one of the reasons why it's like, you know what? YouTube, when you're reading a generic article from 254 Sports, or whenever you're, even in politics and stuff like that, when they're just reading some generic article that they found online that from like WFAA or something, then I'm not going to be interested in watching your video, because I know that it's not really your opinion. You're just stealing other people's opinion and putting it out here on YouTube and pretending like it's yours. I've seen
Well,
this
that's
quite a
what a
bit.
lot of YouTubers are doing now. I've noticed all these new content creators, like even in like Red Pill space and like men's spaces, they're kind of like piggybacking off the original founding fathers of like men's rights movements, and they're sort of regurgitating. You see Pearly Things doing that, Kevin Samuels, rest in peace. Fresh and Shit, aka Fresh and Fit. A lot of these guys are just repeating regurgitated talking points from guys that paved the way, you know?
What about Melanie King? She's, if anybody used Kevin Samuels, she fucking used him for clout. She used his death for clout. You know about that?
No, I didn't know about that.
She fucking called the hospital. Like, she was live. That's how I found out about him passing. And people in her live chat, she was going on about how he's friends, or she's friends with him. And she did a phone call on camera, called the hospital, saying, "I'm a friend of Kevin Samuels. Is he there? Is he there?" Like, trashy as fuck. And anyways, she was going on and on and on, making money off of this, making money off his death. Well, eventually, months later, somebody come in and said, "Okay, you're such good friends with Kevin Samuels. Why didn't you go to his funeral?" And she went off on the dude. She didn't even answer the question, but she didn't even attend his funeral. So, I mean, this is like the scummiest motherfuckers are on YouTube now doing trash like that. It's like,
Yeah.
I didn't agree with everything Kevin Samuels said, but that's kind of wrong to profit
I mean,
off his
some of the
death
things
like
he
that.
said is true, but some of the things he goes overboard. Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit extreme.
But yeah, it just seems like they're all kind of like y'all said, clout chasing, or they clickbait.
Yeah.
They take certain titles, and then like I said, for the most part, especially like in the sports, you go back and look, go back and look at some of these sports channels, and then when they're giving their little analytics and their opinions, they're straight from like ESPN or NFL Network or Insider or whatever sport they're talking about. They're just basically reading articles, or they're reading fucking, whenever they're covering something politics, they're reading something that they read off of Wikipedia. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, oh, well, you don't have your own opinion. You had to borrow somebody else's.
Facts.
Purple sky, cough, cough, purple sky.
Oh yeah, yeah. And then fucking
she's the worst, dude. She read that whole Chris Benoit stuff she did. She read every fucking thing, the whole goddamn police report, 450 pages. She read the whole thing. I'm like, now she's doing the same shit with Owen Hart. That's all she does, is she reads what other people wrote. Yeah, she's like, I do the Benoit stuff, and she comes in after me, and she's literally taken ideas that Polston came up with, arguments Polston made, and she's stealing like so much shit. But when she's not stealing arguments from Polston here or me, she's reading the word for word off the police report. And it's like, yeah, it's kind of boring.
And subs, huh?
Because she's a woman, yeah. She got a Cash App and got people donating to her to pay her to do that.
Wow.
Yeah. I guarantee that a lot of subs are probably her on stock accounts, because now that's the trendy thing to do, is to create a lot of fucking stock accounts. Which, we've known this for a while, but they create a lot of stock accounts and then they sub to themselves and like their own articles. Here's what I say: whenever you go and comment on TYT, I go and tell TYT, you don't have as many subs as you think you do. Everything that looks fucking generic, and then they'll get pissed off and hop on a stock account and, troll me. I think they're trolling me, but of course they're not really trolling me. They're just sitting there, and I'm just playing with them, kind of like a cat in the mouth. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But Lord knows I fuck with them all the fucking time. But it's true. They have to admit that I'm right. Y'all probably stuck down my channel. You probably got my channel terminated, and I'm pretty sure it was TYT. But at the end of the day, they know that I'm right. Guess what? It's not going to do you any good to get my channel terminated, because it's not going to increase your view count. Their view counts and their sub counts and their traffic is going down too. You know what I'm saying? They're losing interest. If YouTube is going to lose interest, so is TYT. And all these bigger channels, they're going to continue to lose interest. And it's just not going to get the same kind of, because they're not allowed to do the same kind of shit that we were able to do back in the days to get attention
Well,
And
news
even if,
outlets can still get the views though.
what's up?
Production companies and news outlets seem to be not affected though.
What are you talking about? Because I
Like they're
guarantee
getting the views.
they're not synthetic. Those views are not
Oh.
synthetic, and they're not even good. I mean, you're talking about like 100K. That's not really all that impressive at all.
You mean like for CNN and shit like that?
Yeah,
Steven,
sometimes
is
you
that
go
what you're
back
talking
and
about?
Yeah,
see,
like they're like Fox News or something like.
But have you not noticed on the YouTube front and center every fucking time, right at the top is all the media. So it's like you can just click on it and right there, right in your face. They promote the
Yeah.
fuck out of the media because I mean, obviously, I guess they have to pay for that. But you know, if fuck my channel was right there front and center, I'd be getting a lot of views too. So for what it is and the promotion they get, it's really not that good. The amount of views they get, you know, and the CNN's ratings are bad.
Oh,
no,
okay.
they're horrible. And like 28,000 views for a media organization that big is not good. And you can go back and look, especially depending on what they're covering. If you go back and look up their fight, it's not good at all. So I mean, really, at the end of the day, they're not even doing that good. But yeah, Dark Horse is right. Is that their traffic is pretty much, the algorithms are boosted into their favor. TYT is much the same way. They're boosted in the algorithms and stuff like that. But their views are going down. And that's why they panic and stuff. That's why they overreact. This is what happens is that, all of a sudden them ratings start to go down. What happens? Oh, well, we have another shooting over here. Or, oh, we have another Trump investigation over here. He's going to be arrested. Oh, it's just like season fucking 7. First it was, what was it? It was fucking Katie Johnson. And then that never went anywhere. And then it was his taxes. And then that never went anywhere. And then it was pissing Russian prostitutes. And then it was fucking Russian hacking. And then it was Russian interference. And then it was Russian collusions. And then there was the Comic-Cop. And then it was nuclear codes. This is like season 7 of the same old shit. And they're losing ratings. So now what are they going to try to do? They're trying to go ahead and promote another race riot for the summer, apparently. So they try to sell those plans. But it's all old. Everybody's already seen this shit. Nobody's interested. And it's not going to bring any ratings back into your channel anymore. So, with the propaganda bills that they passed, which I thought that Trump should have repealed, which goes back to what...
But make sense of this for me. You talk about the propaganda bill. What about the Fox News lawsuit that they just have to pay out millions, hundreds of millions of dollars? Like, that don't make fucking sense to me.
Yeah, what was that lawsuit all about?
2020, when people were saying that, I'm trying not to, but they were saying something was up with the election back then. And apparently Fox News what is the name of that company that sued them? I forget. Dominion?
Dominion. Wow. Here's the deal. You got Dominion, you got Smartmatic. But here's the deal. It's all bullshit, and why? This is why I can't believe any of this shit, because if Dominion was going to file a lawsuit, they would have to do it, say, to HBO Max, who has a fucking documentary on how these fucking Dominion voting machines can be hacked. They were talking about how these were back in 2016, how these machines could be hacked. So the sheer fact that I'm going to invest any kind of real life interest in Fox paying for Dominion for these lawsuits, I'm sorry. It just doesn't make any sense. None of it does. Why would I watch some ridiculous propagandist bullshit like that when we have other shit to worry about?
Yeah. That's all, and that's all people want to talk about on Facebook or Twitter, even when it don't have nothing to do about, oh, well, you going to talk about Fox and the lawsuit? It's like, dude, he's trying to talk about something like Dinesh D'Souza. He'll be trying to talk about something else, and they'll bring that up. It's like, there's just so many of these fucking dumb fucks now that repeat shit like that. It's like, I've learned you can't really respond to them anyways. They're not gonna listen to what you have to say. So I'm not as argumentative as I used to be. You get tired of it after a while.
Yeah, and I can tell you right now, like out of the people that I work for me, out of the crew of, like I say, about 40 or 50 people um, that I work with, like only two talk about that dumb shit. I'm thinking, yeah, only two talk about it.
Are they
Nobody else
actually
talks.
younger?
Huh?
Are they like young people?
No, actually, they're a little bit older. The younger people don't give a fuck. They're not watching this shit. I can tell you right now, after the boomers are, the remaining boomers, after they're no longer capable of watching media or whatever the hell it is, the media is dead ultimately because it's only really the only older people that are in their 50s, in their 60s and whatnot that watch the media. Uh, Gen X, like myself, pretty much use the media to market off of because of how stupid they look. So we, use the media to go ahead and make videos and do reactions and shit like that. Uh, Millennials use it to victim, but they don't really watch the media like that either. And Gen Z don't have any fucking care of what these media personnel. They just
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, yeah.
so
And so that's why you see the media now, they'll sort of work with guys that are like YouTubers or whatever to sort of help try to get a kick on their ratings now. So they'll bring somebody on their show like a Brandon Tatum or somebody on there and interview them because they know that like they're like a popular YouTuber and they know, okay, well, if they'll listen to these guys and then they'll watch us, you know?
WWE's doing the same shit too. Fucking Logan Paul. It's ridiculous. Did you hear Triple H even tell Logan Paul, I want your fan base? Like,
yeah.
what the fuck? I never when I grew up, like at one point I wanted to be a wrestler, but it never thought like, oh, hey, I could get on the internet and do a bunch of bullshit on YouTube and then become a wrestler. Don't get me wrong, he's athletic, but he didn't pay his dues.
Well, here's the thing about Logan Paul. A lot of people don't want to give him credit for this. And I used to hate the guy. I don't hate him as much anymore. I think he's a prick, but to be honest with you, when you bring a guy like that on your show and he's more entertaining to watch than these actual professional wrestlers, that their specific job is supposed to be exactly that, and they can't even pull off a character or mic work, and you have to get a guy from YouTube to do it. That says a lot about the wrestling businesses as a whole. A lot of these guys are coming in the business. They put no work into their character, their mic development. I mean, you could probably take a handful of guys in the business. They're actually decent. The rest of them are kind of like Teletubbies. You could take one that it's like a one size fits all, and they lack microphone skills and all that. They can't tell a good storyline. They're cosplaying their old favorite wrestlers, and they're just doing it poorly. And it's sad that a guy like Logan Paul can come in there, a YouTuber, and yet he can just electrify the whole building.
Yeah, that's probably the Royal Rumble with Ricochet was pretty good, but I'm just saying, yeah, and that is another problem too. You got for me, Seth Rollins. I mean, it's pretty bad when your theme song's over more than you are. I'm just saying that's really what it is with Seth Rollins. I mean, what is he the fucking Joker? Like I don't see anything with Seth Rollins that makes me go, wow, like this guy has it. People are saying he should main event WrestleMania 40. I'd rather see Roman Reigns versus Randy Orton, to be honest with you.
And I'll tell you something. A lot of these guys on the roster, you used to back in the days, you had guys that would put other guys over. They would be jobbers, and the jobbers understood that, hey, this is my job to go ahead and get this guy over. He's going to be the breadwinner. Now everybody thinks that they're a main event fucking draw. This is why A&W really doesn't get over as much, is because you have all these people trying to be the big main draw, not to mention all the virtue signaling political bullshit that they implement into it. And like there's no real true roster, you know what I'm saying? So it's just, I don't know. I see some decent stuff in wrestling, don't get me wrong. I like Roman Reigns. So I agree with you. It'd probably be, my choice would probably be Roman Reigns versus Randy Orton would probably be the way I would want to go. But
I mean, I mean, think about it like this. It's been hard for me to take Seth Rollins seriously since that fan speared his ass. What happened when the fan got in the ring with Randy Orton? That motherfucker went out with a black eye. You see what I'm saying? So I don't know. I mean, you think back some of the tough guys of the old days like Haku. I don't see a fan doing that to him. You know, he would beat the shit out of the fan. So it's like, yeah, there's guys in the business that have kind of weakened it and softened it and pussified pro wrestling, in my opinion. And Seth Rollins is one of those guys.
Yeah, and I know Steven Rose knows a bunch of the indie guys up there in Houston, and Booker T's promotion and various other promotions up there.
Mm-hmm. All right, y'all know Roxanne Perez. That's in NXT, and she's I think she was like the NXT champion. She's from Booker T's ROW. I used to watch her matches, like just regular Joe. Sammy Guevara, AEW, same thing.
I know who Sammy is, but he used to be in Team Paul.
Well, now they're crying. The Indies wrestlers are crying that nobody's coming to the show. And they're sitting there talking shit on Facebook, like all the promotions here in Houston. And I'm like, well, what do you expect? I mean, like, well, first of all, you have to drive the $10 to a lot of these places. Secondly, the match cards are the same as the ones prior month. You guys don't have any innovative storylines. You got like one belt. A lot of these companies do. And a lot of these guys that are wrestling are either midgets or they're not really anybody that are really interested in that would cultivate an audience. And a lot of them don't have mic work. A lot of them can't wrestle. They do the super kick like 10 times in a row. And I'm like, that used to be a finisher. Now it's just like a normal move. And bland storylines, lackluster storylines, and then they want to get political when they do decide to do storylines. I'm like, what did you expect? You know?
Yeah. And it's like Dark Horse. I agree with you on the Dylan Mulvaney canceling Bud Light to me is stupid because you're not hurting anybody except for the guy who delivers Bud Light, the guy who works in the warehouse, the guy who merchandises it at the store. You're not hurting anybody else. So I think that's the dumbest thing. You're not really a conservative, so shut the fuck up. But with that being said, whenever you go ahead and you make fun and you poke fun of your clientele, your customer, or in this case, your target audience, what do you expect at the end of the day? If you're sitting there making Trump, because you think that these fucking people that are Dylan Mulvaney fucking watch a wrestling event, they don't give a shit about wrestling. They don't give a fuck about anything that's masculine. You know what I'm saying? They're femboys. They're not going to watch a wrestling product. So why are you trying to go ahead and virtue signal and how much better and how much progressive? Nobody gives a shit. We want to see a wrestling match. We're not sitting there trying to watch you for your political ideology. We want to see a wrestling match. We want to see good characters. We want to see good content. We want to go ahead and see, that's what we want to see. That's what we're paying to see. We want to be entertained. It's your job to entertain us. It's not our job to be entertained by you. And I can tell that to some of the content creators here on YouTube that are of more of the celebrity variety that, hey, look, I get you're an actor, but, it's not my job to be entertained by you. It's your job to entertain me. So if we're going to do a woke piece of crap, then yeah, I'm not going to watch it. Sorry. Yeah. And I'm going to
Facts. I agree.
Well, that was more of a punishment for Owen Hart for not doing the to read Scott's comment. Why would Vince Russo say WWE was not pushing Owen Hart when WWE had him be Blue Blazer? It was a punishment because he didn't want to do a storyline with Deborah where he would be cheating on his wife. So WWE punished him for that. And then he ended up losing his life because of that stupid fucking gimmick. That's why I think like there's more to it than, you're just going to punish the guy and then name the pay-per-view Over the Edge where he falls over the edge to his death. Like, come on.
You think that they did that on purpose?
I mean, over the edge, he goes over the edge, he dies. I mean, just this, and you see Vince at the press conference afterwards. He's more pissed off than anything. You think of that, Oh,
I was going to say, that wasn't a paramedic in the ring, neither. If you think that was a paramedic in the ring, I was looking at the picture you showed me. I was like, no, that's a security officer.
yeah.
Because he has a gun. How many fucking paramedics do you know have a gun?
It's just fucked up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it really was. I mean, you're gonna do a series on that too, aren't you? Or
Nah, this Purple Sky's doing all that, so
stealing all your work again?
she's got it covered. Boring. She's losing viewers on it, so I mean, like, I feel like it's a dead topic by now because she's killed it. So, but yeah, I mean that whole thing just reeks of, they showed the clip that they used for him, and it's what the fuck were they thinking, dude? What the fuck were they thinking?
Well, I told you back whenever I was helping you with the Chris Benoit stuff, and then we were going over some of the Owen Hart stuff. I believe it's the wrestling mafia. That's what I believe. I believe it's so. That's my conspiracy. Much shit as I've seen, especially with like the Von Erichs and your Brian Pillmans, your Bruiser Brody, your Dino Hernandez's. It's almost like the mafia, basically, is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, Brett left that whole thing with Brett a year and a half before, and then it happens with Owen. It's just too much, too fucking much. And it's like all the wrestling families, like the Von Erich family, they all pretty much except for Kevin died. And the same thing, you look at the Hart family. Just saying, they all fucking died way too young. To my knowledge, though, Owen's the only one to ever die in the ring like that in WWF.
Yeah, and
actually did, right?
I had a buddy that was watching it live, and he swore he saw it, but like I said, I didn't see it because I didn't watch the pay-per-view. I just heard it secondhand. He had told me what happened.
Here's what gets me. Like, he's up that high, right?
Yeah.
How does he fall? What stops him from falling into the crowd and hitting some of the fans? It's like he fell straight down into the ring. That just, I don't know. I feel like it would have been something different would have happened there. Like, what prevented him from going somewhere else or crashing into the announce table or something? How did he just manage to hit the corner like that? Did he got himself? Like, it's fucking strange, man.
He would have fell into the crowd and killed like 2 or 3 people, because he landed on them.
Yeah.
Could Jim have a lawsuit?
Yeah, exactly. So what do you think? Like, how did that happen? I mean, I can't figure in my head how that happened for it to be that perfect to fall straight into the ring like that. Because, I mean, I've seen them when I went to WCW event where they had Sting come down. And if Sting had fell, he'd have hit somebody in the audience.
Yeah. Well, yeah. If who would have fell?
Sting. I seen when I went to Nitro, I think whatever it was, I can't remember exactly when, but they had Sting up there in the rafters. And if he'd have come down, he would have hit somebody in the audience.
I know. I thought you said Cena, because I was like, is that because Cena's so clumsy?
Right.
I'm gonna keep that to myself for what I would say about that.
My brother went to Monday Night Nitro the week before Nash beat Goldberg at Starrcade for the streak. Like, they were cutting promos and everything.
I was there the night of the Finger Poke of Doom.
Really?
Yeah.
So you witnessed the WCW firsthand.
Yep. That's when the Atlanta Falcons came out after it went off the air, and they come to Goldberg's defense. So
that would be.
yeah, because they all had there was an altercation in the ring, and they all attacked Goldberg after all that shit went down.
Yeah, that's freaking crazy, man. I actually have one of my brother's VHS tapes. I was watching the main event at Starrcade in '92, Ric Flair versus Vader.
Yeah.
They just don't make shows like that anymore.
My favorite was WCW Saturday Night. I used to watch that show all the time.
And it's funny because now these new indie guys I was telling you about, Pulse, and I was going at it. They're having their own WrestleMania in December. It's called All In, and like Gangrel's supposed to be there, Rikishi, Mr. Ass. They're going to be doing shows with these little woke wrestlers that are in the business. They're supposed to do like a show together. It's supposed to be like their pay-per-view. And they're like, oh, we're going to take the ratings away for Royal Rumble because they're going to watch this show. I'm like, dude, you're not going to take the WWE ratings away. And look, I'm just being honest with you. There's no way you guys are going to compete with them, but they think they are. So
Yeah, that's not going to happen. Like, got high hopes. You got high hopes. You know, he's just that damn ant trying to push that rubber tree plant. You know, because there's just no fucking way that these guys that sit there and put on these, and I mean, these gimmicks are so fucking corny. And like, you're right, Steven. I have known people that were independent wrestlings that do these shows and whatnot, and we're trying to perform on the level, and you know, they're trying to do all this stuff. But you're right, they are too fucking emotional. They're too fucking. They get triggered over every little thing. Mm-hmm. I know Dark knows that I've been doxxed by one of these guys on 205 Live. You know, it just, you remember your feud with Matt?
I was about to say, you remember I triggered Matt Hart so bad he was threatening to kick my ass.
Really?
Yeah. I called his girlfriend a bitch or something like that. But she was being wanted. It wasn't my fault. I just called it like I saw it.
What happened was Andre posted an article about Teddy Hart doing something stupid. And then, Dark Horse came in, left a comment, says, well, if you keep doing stupid shit like this right here, then people are going to think that you're pretty much a piece of shit. He didn't say it, you know, as verbose as I'm saying it right now. But he said something to that effect. And lo and behold, Matt Hart's girlfriend or fiance or wife or whatever the fuck she was, came out and decided that she was going to call Dark Horse. You don't know who he is, and you said you have an opinion. But it's like, okay, well, this shit's already leaked, and we see the stupid shit that's going on, so of course somebody's going to have an opinion on it, you know? And then he got triggered by, you know, she got triggered, then he came in, and it was pretty much the same thing with me and the 205 Live guy, that John Brazier guy, or whatever the hell. It was his fucking girlfriend that got pissed for my, opinion about internet censorship regarding that Hannah, whatever the girl is that committed. And she started to come at me first, and then all of a sudden she must have got triggered, and then fucking passed the shit on to him. And then this dude's like, oh, yeah, blah, 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 blah. And then he ended up trying to dox me and threatened to kick my ass. But the guy, here's the thing. The guy was like 5'6", 160 pounds soaking wet with fucking boots to his feet. And I'm like, you know, you're not going to bounce off that concrete like you bounce off that ring, pal. Fort Hood and kick the shit out of you, dude. You know, you're not going to bounce off that concrete. Because I was in the military, motherfucker. I was in the military, too. So I don't know if I can hear the shit. But if you want to meet me somewhere, and it turned out he lived in Austin, but because I got his address, too, just to let you know that.
Damn.
Fair play. If you're going to get my address, I'm going to get your address, too, buddy. But I ended up getting his address. He did live in San Antonio, though. But he said that he lived in Fort Hood. If he lives in Fort Hood, I'm like, dude, I can meet you in Fort Hood. Dude, that's no problem, because that's like right down the road from me. I'm not about to drive to fucking San Antonio and fuck with you, though, because that's a little bit far. But yeah, they're just so fucking, dude, they're so temperamental now. And, you know, understand that I'm the guy that's going to be buying a ticket to your show. So you know, it may not be such a good idea to threaten a motherfucker that.
Yeah, and then they're threatening fans now, talking about y'all punk motherfuckers don't show up. Y'all are short term fans, and y'all don't appreciate anything anymore. Now, and then like I commented under them, and I told them, well, if your wrestlers would stop cosplaying other wrestlers and have their own gimmicks and storylines, it's your all's job to entertain us, not the other way around.
Well, the guy that you showed me the picture of, I'm in better shape than that motherfucker is, dude. That dude's
Oh
got
yeah,
like a.
yeah,
And
he's got a Trump gimmick. He's supposed to be like a Trump guy, but like some like kind of like Neanderthal one. I don't even. He said, well, I'm just kind of poking fun at the media. I'm like, yeah, but not really, because you have a storyline where you're getting arrested by cops, and you're like, what did I do this time? Like, did I cheat somebody out of their taxes? I have talked to Putin since the elections were rigged. I was like, wait a minute. Like, sound like to me you're taking pod shots.
yeah, nobody's gonna watch that shit, and especially if you
Yeah,
can't kind of real estate to do the fucking stuff you need to do in the ring. You know what I'm saying? I go out and work
yeah.
pretty much every other day. I go to work out at the fucking Y. You could put in at least that much effort. You know, I'm not asking you to fucking be like.
He's a Sergeant Slaughter ripoff, but he's supposed to be some pro Trump supporter, but like he's kind of like poke. I don't know, like he's trying to poke fun, basically, like with the whole arrest thing. Like, what did I do this time? Like he was getting arrested, and like I didn't rig the elections the second time. I only did it the first time. Like I'm like, man.
And this is in Texas, by the way, Dark Horse, in case you haven't wondered. And this is why they're complaining that they don't have any fans.
Yeah. Good.
And he was crying, talking about we're not asking you to pay for our merch. We're sitting here, we're busting our ass, and you guys have no appreciation, man. It's time we come after the fans now. We're tired of this shit. I'm like, okay, well, you keep doing that, but they're not going to buy your tickets to watch your woke bullshit.
I mean, it's back to the whole Bud Light thing. You know, like they could have come out and tried to attack which in kind of in a way that commercial that they released in a way was a slap in the face to their fan base, to their, people that buy their products. But what did they end up doing? They fired the dumb bitch that said, oh, hey, it'll be a great idea to have a transgender as our spokesperson. And while I will say it is hip, yeah, they did. Well, they said that she's on a leave of absence, whatever, basically. Like she's not coming back. But while I say it is hypocritical for conservatives to do that, at the same time, that's all the leftists do is cancel shit. So at some point, you got to fight fire with fire, I think. And I'm just saying, like, it is hypocritical, but I understand why they did it. Because at some point you got to draw the line. Like, we're not going to stand for this bullshit anymore.
Yeah, we're not. Yeah, and I agree with it too. And the funny thing is about the whole transgender thing is they want to talk about like having like being equal with us, and like I don't have a problem with that. My issue is you don't want people rubbing their beliefs in your face, but you have no problem doing it, and that's my issue.
Well, you know how Bud Light thing, and how I would make amends for what this horse-faced idiot did. What I do is I do another one of those Bud Light Real Men of Genius, and then say, here's a real man of genius, and then put her on there, as the person. Here's to you, diversity hire, who ended up costing $3 or $4 or $5 billion, how much it is right now, sales and whatnot. Thanks for helping us lose so much business and putting all these people out of work, and then just follow up with the real men of genius and have her laughing over there, talking about everybody so touch, and then just make light of it.
Or they could have somebody with a chair, and when she turns around, he just hits her pronouns over the head.
Yeah,
and to do like a WWE skit, and then the people, and it's like, well, you know what? I'll buy Bud Light now.
That's Adam's apple, Alicia, whatever the fuck her name is. But yeah, that's how I would do it. You know what I'm saying? And like this is
bring the frogs back.
Yeah,
remember they used to Budweiser? To be like dumb bitch.
Some
Show a picture of the. I can't believe they let somebody have a position of power like that and thought, oh, hey, it was better in the 90s because they didn't get involved in politics like this. I'm just saying, like, that was part of the appeal of the 90s. You didn't have to worry about politics so much. Actors weren't speaking out as much. People knew to shut the fuck up about it and not talk about it because it's divisive. And
Yeah,
it's way
exactly.
more divisive now than it was then.
Stick to what you do best, selling beer.
To get back to the original topic, it's because of social media. Everybody's got a voice now, and everybody thinks they're way more important than they are.
Yeah.
Well, it's like kind of like you got. Damn it!
Let me ask you guys this: Do you think Bud Light? Do you think
history month? It's like, okay, you have to be reminded for 28 days, right? Because I think it's February Black History Month. 28 days, you have to be reminded black people exist. Like somehow we don't know black people exist, all right? And then you've got the Gay Pride Month, which is June, right? For 31 days, 30 days, you have to be reminded that gay people exist. Like we don't know that gay people exist. Why can't they just exist? Why can't you just have a rapport with said black person or said homosexual person on a case-by-case basis? I may like said homosexual person, but I may not like said homosexual person as much. I may like said black person. I may not like said black person as much. You know what I'm saying? And just do a case-by-case basis instead of trying to say, oh, well, everybody's discriminated against. And I can tell you right now, if you're transgender, homosexual, like whatever, these little fucking groups, they put a stigma on you whenever you start going for these leftist causes. They put more of a stigma than anybody's going to, if people are not going to accept you, they're not going to accept you. Force feeding, this shit on them is not going to make them accept you anymore. For the other case, the people who are more tolerant or don't care one way or the other, we don't need to be browbeaten with this shit because these other people will never accept you. And at the same time, it's a fucking mess right now, and everybody has to sit there and they're super understand that they don't give a fuck, but they have to pretend to give a fuck. Like,
hey, but check this out. Imagine if we had a straight history month or a white history month. Imagine what the backlash would be on that.
Well, the reaction is this is the white man's country. Basically, they're just living in it. Basically, they think we rule the world, and it's like, why don't you look around at the world? First of all, if you get married, you have kids. What's going to happen when you get a divorce? Who's got the power there? Who's getting fucking child support? It ain't the man, it's the woman.
No, but I'm saying if we had a white history month or a straight history month, they would have a fit. They would have a fit.
How many times have you heard the feminists say it's a man's world, we're just living in it, when they're sitting there benefiting off of child support? And I can tell you firsthand, it ain't all for the child. They'll use that shit for rent.
But they benefit off the sex business too.
They'll use that shit for rent and say, oh, well, this is to put a roof over your child's head. I've heard it firsthand from obviously the woman I was dating, but it's just like, and then
there's double standards that most women benefit from. Like, I couldn't post feet pics on OnlyFans and make $30,000 a month like some of these girls do. So I would make the argument they actually benefit off of sexism. They actually benefit off of the world that the men gave them.
Exactly, and it's the same thing with the racial divide. There's certain people that think white people have never struggled. White people have never, like fucking Eric Melendez thinks I am wealthy. I'm like, you dumb fuck. I don't have a lot of money. I didn't grow up with a lot of money. I grew up in a house with holes in the floors, man. I mean, I'm not even joking.
Yeah, white privilege doesn't exist. It's about class. And I tell everybody this: you got the haves, you got middle class, you got the have-nots. That's just basically what it is. If you're not part of the elite class, you're going to be struggling. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I can tell you from doing the deliveries that I do, and I see more diversity. Let's just put it that way. and there's a lot more people of color in nice ass houses, like big fancy houses. And
Oh yeah.
I don't hate that. Good for them. But don't sit here and complain like that's not the case. And
Yeah,
what's
facts.
happened is in Georgia is the same thing that happened in Texas. The shithole that is California, everybody voting their leftist liberal policies there and ran that place to hell have all come out now. They're moving to Texas, they're moving to Georgia. Dude, we're seeing like population wise, it's getting crazy here, man. It
Yeah,
didn't never
Texas is
used to be
turning
this
into New
bad.
California.
It's like, and now we're a fucking blue state. Go figure.
That's what I fucking said to fucking Stephen Rose, and I said the shit's to Craig Abbott. I said the immigration crisis isn't from Mexico, it's from California. If we're going to build a wall, let's put it on the new Mexico border, not in the old Mexico border, because at least the old Mexico will come up here and work. Those people from California up here and drive crazy, have these fucking narcissistic attitudes, and then they come out and fucking overpopulate, make the price of fucking property tax go up, school zoning taxes go up, and all this other shit.
What do you think they're doing though? Because you got to figure all of the millions of people leaving California. That's a lot of empty houses. Do you think they're bringing some people across the border from Mexico and putting them in those houses, or like what the fuck are they doing with all that land and that property that people are abandoning and just leaving?
Kid, I say that if they're going to fucking come over here and take all over our state, we should turnabout's fair play. We should just all move to California and take over their state. Just start turning it fucking red.
Sounds good to me, man.
Well,
I was going to
know.
ask you, Paulson, if Texas turns into California, are you going to move?
You'll move to Florida.
I've been about like Alaska or something. You know.
Oh, you thought about it?
Yeah, like I was thinking that if I was going to move and like retire somewhere, like Colorado or Alaska or something.
So you can be close to Putin, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so I can get my paychecks a lot easier, you know?
Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah. Because, WFAA is where that I'm a player. Sometimes I troll them in Russian, so it's okay.
Yeah, it seems like Texas is turning into New California, and New York is Florida's turning into New York.
I don't know. I think Florida's doing pretty good.
And to be honest with you, it's going to be a while before Texas turns purple. Because even if every fucking Californian moved here from California, I don't think that they would have enough people. Because they're all going to relocate into like Stevens area pretty much. Or they'll relocate Travis's area.
What do you mean Texas turns purple?
Like, I don't think that Texas is going to turn purple anytime soon. Is because, mainly the reason why Texas is so red is because of all the rural areas.
Yeah.
And Texas was at one time even more blue than California is now. Far more blue than California is now.
When did they turn red?
Like Texas probably started to turn red consistently in the 90s. I mean, they elected their first Republican governor in 1979, maybe 1978, something like that. Mm-hmm. They elected in 107 years. But up until that point, everything was blue in Texas. Texas was a blue state, and it was a shithole just like California is right now. My current area led the nation in murder in 1994. The roads were another fucking calamity. High crime, low employment. None of the entertainers wanted to come to Texas for sure because everybody wanted to take money out of their pockets and tax the shit out of them, so you just wouldn't have celebrities or anybody do anything in Waco. And then everybody got tired of it here in Texas, especially in our areas, because we got screwed. You look at RoboCop, right? And I said, RoboCop wasn't filmed in Detroit, it was filmed in Dallas because Dallas looked like a fucking dystopic shithole. You go back and watch.
I know it was filmed in Dallas. Wow.
Yeah, if you go back and watch the history of the Dallas Cowboys and the San Francisco 49ers, before the Dallas Cowboys started winning all these Super Bowls, they go into what Dallas was at the time. And they said that it had all these abandoned buildings, all this shit was, collapsing, the infrastructures were collapsing. and they turned it around once Texas started to start voting more, because at that point in time California was republic. Everybody wanted to move to California, you know, and then it flipped somewhere about the mid '90s. Texas started to vote more for the Republicans, and California started to vote more for the Democrats. And definitely about 2005, 2006, California became a Democrat state, and then Texas became a Republican state. And now, in about a decade or so later, California has turned to complete and utter shit. And all of a sudden, all these people who were living in California started moving out to these other states that had flipped red.
Can we not just give them their own fucking island and get them the fuck out of the United States?
Where's Will from? Is he from Texas?
I wanted to exile him to fucking Greenland. Say, look, y'all want free health care, y'all want free housing, y'all want free food. Here's what we're gonna exile you to fucking Greenland. We'll give you your free health care, we'll give you your free food, we'll give you your free housing, and then we'll require you to work 16 hours a day, and on Nikes and shit, where we can make money off of you because y'all have contributed a whole hell of a lot to society, and hey, everybody wins at the end.
Yeah, but we need to make a rule that they're not allowed to come back. Because I don't want those motherfuckers back. I'm just saying, I said it's like a lot of Californians are moving here. Crime rates going up here now. Atlanta's like almost top of the list of crime as far as crimes go. Like we're up there now. Not that we weren't, before, but we really are now. And it's like that's not by
gone up too.
It's not by coincidence.
Facts.
All these new fucking people, man.
Yeah. And then, like I said, all your property taxes go up, all your zoning laws. They have all this other shit that they want to come in and have. You come from California, you want to have a fucking opinion? Yeah, no. You can go back to California with that fucking opinion.
I'll put it to you like this. I came from Jasper, Georgia, doing DoorDash. No problems out there. Get the orders, go. I come out here where I am now, and a lot of times I'll go to pick up the order. They say, "Sir, somebody's already got that order. Somebody stole that fucking order." Because I have it on my phone to pick it up. Somebody stole that order. And they even told me they'll just come in there either because at Zaxby's they don't monitor it. They just put it on the shelf and people can come grab it, or either they can have it on their phone and then mark it as picked up or cancel it or whatever. Pick the fucking order up and go, which is stupid because you could just work and do DoorDash. And then other times it could just be random people coming and grabbing it and stealing it. Either way, they're stealing it, and it it's like fucked up. Like these fuckers don't want to work for shit.
Hey, if somebody cancels an order when you're on the way there, can you keep the food or you got to bring it back?
No, I mean if they cancel it before you deliver it to them, I mean I'm keeping it. I'm not taking it back.
Well, I mean, what's the technical policy? You have to take it back, or I mean, what's the policy say?
I mean, if it's like a Walmart order, I would have to take it back because sometimes they order directly through Walmart. Okay. So if that, you know what I mean, that's Walmart's. So I would take a Walmart order back. I wouldn't keep a Walmart order. But if it's, if it's Zaxby's, I mean, I always call DoorDash just to report it. So there's no way that it's like I stole it. So I always go.
So if it's like a restaurant, then like you'll just, and it's like a burger and fries, you're like, fuck it, I'll keep it.
But I'll call DoorDash and say, hey, whatever, this is what happened. And then they'll be like, keep the food.
Nice.
So yeah, that way it's documented that I went through the proper channels and, didn't cut corners or whatever. So it's just the best way to do it. But a lot of these lazy fuckers just want to steal shit. So
I didn't know that can do that. Wow.
Yeah, it's fucked up, but I don't know. I've tried to tell Zaxby's they need to keep it behind the counter and make people show them their phone. That's the best way to do it, but they don't want to do it, so that's on them.
Yeah, they do that at Subway too. When I saw them,
Yeah.
when a guy went to go pick it up, he had to show the phone, like, in the app on there. Yeah.
I mean, it's a little pain for them, but at the end of the day, it saves money. It
Oh,
keeps people from doing that.
oh yeah, if you guys want a free meal, just to let you know from Taco Bell, if you fill out their survey when you get a receipt, you can only do it like once a month. But if you know the people are well, sometimes they'll let you slide every other week. But I just fill out the survey, put in a couple of names, and then answer the little questionnaire on Taco Bell, whatever.com or .survey or whatever. And it'll say it on your receipt, and you fill it out. Then the next time you go in there, you get a free meal, any number you want. I've been taking advantage of that shit. Every other week, I get a free meal, and I always order like the Mexican pizza meal, or sometimes I get the quesadilla meal, or whatever. They'll even give you a large drink and everything too.
That's not bad, man. You got to take advantage of that now, especially with inflation.
Oh man, inflation's even the worst part, and I know it affects Uber Eats and y'all's jobs, right? With the inflation.
I mean, what I've noticed, they've gone up on the prices for. You used to could get like a fucking meal for $5. Everything's at least $8 to $10 now, at least. So they've gone way up on. For example, Zaxby's. I used to could get 10-piece chicken finger for $10. Now that with the drink is like $17.
Damn.
Yeah. So I mean, it's all going up. But hey, I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna fucking do about it. So
let me ask you guys this, and this question goes to both of you. How much longer do y'all see YouTube platform lasting? Like, do you think it'll last another year? Like, how much of this shit show do you? I mean, it's already bad enough to where we could barely get 50 to 100 views a video. Now like that used to be the starting point of my channel. Now it's like, I know it's a deterrence from wanting to create content, but how much longer do you guys see yourselves being a part of YouTube?
well, I mean, I have a growing channel right now. My conspiracy series channel has going on 1,200 subs.
Nice.
So, and the views are still coming in. I'm not making money off of it, but as far as but I'm uploading just whenever I feel like it, which is few and far between. I mean, I'm not uploading like I should be doing, but I mean, I'm gonna keep doing it as long as if they want to start charging for me to upload videos. Like if they try to do it per video or something, I'm not good. I'm not down with that. I'm not down with paying
They
to
probably do a
upload.
monthly subscription, but I still wouldn't do it.
I mean, I think it's fair if the people are making good money off of the platform. But don't do it to people just doing it for fun.
Yeah.
But like if they do that next year with the like you were saying before, Steven, I think a lot of people are going to leave. Rightfully so.
Would you guys leave if they start charging?
I'd watch probably other people unless they charge you to do that. Then I'd be going for good.
I think for like me, I'm gonna wait until I get high-speed internet. I already know what internet I'm gonna get, but whenever I start to get high-speed internet, I'm gonna start doing more videos from my laptop. So I'm gonna start doing more video editing, and I'm gonna try to do that with Rumble. I don't want to really put it up here on YouTube, particularly if I do investigations and I do breakdowns that may go against the general consensus, which everybody knows that's kind of like my thing, is going against the general consensus, pointing out the obvious, getting down to the truth of the matter and shit. And you just can't do that here on YouTube, not to any real quality. But my parodies, stuff like that, do video editing, stuff like that. But I plan on putting it on Rumble over YouTube, because if you put that much work into doing that stuff, you don't want somebody that's going to end up ultimately coming in and taking it down and removing it. And so I feel a little bit more comfortable uploading it to like a Rumble than a YouTube. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But YouTube, I could still do little podcasts like this right here where we could have conversations and stuff. That's not a biggie.
I mean, if they started charging a monthly subscription, would you pay it even if it was like $3.99 a month?
Probably not, because I'd have to get something out of it. And I don't see me getting anything out of YouTube like I used to,
I think you said it best in my previous 2 streams ago. You said, why am I going to pay a monthly subscription if you're just going to flag my channel down anyway?
Right. And then I can lose all my content.
Yeah.
Movies that I buy, like let's say that, are, for example, right? Let's say I go out there and I buy the new Left Behind, Rise of the Antichrist, right? Let's say I pay $12, whatever the hell they charge for it. And then all of a sudden they flag my channel down. Well, I lose that. I still pay $12 for it. I own it, but I lose that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But see, wouldn't that be smart for YouTube to do? If they're going to charge, make it like a fee of where you cannot be flagged down. Okay, so you got to pay for that. That might be something worth paying for. I mean, I'm just saying.
That way
that
is true. That is true. If it's like $4.99 a month and they're like, you can upload controversial content, we'll put it on your trending, then I'll be like, I would consider it.
Yeah. Fuck, I mean, because like you just said, you just had your other channel flagged down, right? So I get why you say that, but if they were to offer and say, well, you know what, maybe only a limited amount of people could watch, whether it's a rated audience or whatever, but at least there's a guarantee that you're not going to have your shit taken away. That would be worth it, I think.
And then we'll make sure all your subscribers get the notification when you ring the bell, because obviously they don't honor that either. But if they say, look, we'll make sure that your subscribers are notified whenever you go live or you make a video, we'll make sure the notifications go out. Like, we're not going to shadow ban it. Like, we're going to completely give you full access to your channel and the direction it goes in. I'd be okay with paying the $4.99 a month.
Well, to be honest with you, it ran out of California. So,
I was about to say, that's the problem. We ain't running YouTube, so it's probably not going to happen, but at least we're sharing ideas.
Yeah.
YouTube used to be a place where independent YouTubers, like they thrived off the 9-to-5 guy or the bum that never had a job, but he made great videos. Like you were just an ordinary guy that gave you the voice. And now over the years they're like, well, you're not really important anymore because you don't have no clout, you're not famous. So if you're not grandfathered in, or if you're not part of a media production company, or if you don't have any special interest groups funding you, then we don't care about that 9-to-5 guy anymore. And I think it took away from that element, because really, tell you the truth, when you talk about censorship, who is really being censored? It's only just your average guys. Like it's not even a rule that's meant for everybody. It's just meant for, again, if special interest groups or whatever can get away with, they kind of pick and choose who gets canceled.
Well, I mean, politics-wise, more right-leaning people, like Doctor of Common Sense, obviously Alex Jones.
Oh, he's from Houston, Dr. Common Sense.
I haven't been able to find one. What the fuck's he even been up to?
Yeah, his channel is growing. That guy's almost at 3K. He's at 8.69K subs, and he's getting he just got 1,000 comments on his last video with Bud Light. So that guy's growing, but I've met him before. He lives in Houston. So does Phil the Advice Show. He lives here in Missouri City. I met him at Chili's, believe it or not. I ran into him.
So Doctor of Common Sense, is he on Rumble or something?
He's on YouTube. You can actually go to the Doctor of Common Sense. He's on YouTube now.
Oh wow.
Yep, he's back.
Cool. I have to look that up. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Like old. He's what I consider old school. So yeah, I wish they'd let Alex Jones come back, to be honest.
Where is Alex Jones at? What's he been up to?
He's on Rumble.
And he's been doing Steven Crowder's show too.
Who's also on Rumble.
Yeah. Is it true Steven Crowder turned down like some sort of big contract?
There was like stipulations he didn't like. but it was from Daily Wire.
Ben
Oh, they were trying to
Shapiro.
censor him?
And that's where Candace Owens opened her fucking mouth again.
So what is it you don't like about Candace Owens?
Sometimes that's that big mouth of hers that she don't know how to shut.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, she's gonna really ruin her credibility. Like people are gonna have to look at the Black Lives Matter documentary and really maybe even do their own research now, because if she goes through with this making a murderer thing, she's gonna lose credibility big time.
So is she taking the side of Black Lives Matter?
No, she was against Black Lives Matter, but I'm just saying, with making a murderer, there is a huge following with that show. There's a ton of people that don't think Stephen Avery did it. There's his sister, and I think it's her stepson named Brad Dassey, spoke out about how she had asked him if he could delete things off of her computer and where the police wouldn't be able to find it. Well, what happened was later on, he came out after the fact, just a couple years ago, but they found that Bobby Dassey had all kinds of fucking porn, like kid porn, bestiality, all kinds of fucked up shit. I think he had photos of Teresa Hallback on his computer too. And he left around the time she did. And so people think he's actually the one that did it. He lived right next door to Stephen Avery. So there's a lot of things that go into that. And when these motherfuckers are going to get involved and say that he's guilty, it's like they're going to be overlooking a lot of the facts.
So is Candace Owens on the train that he's guilty? Is that
No, they said they're going to be providing a lot of the facts, a lot of the details, and they're going to be proving how they're going to be showing things making a murderer left out.
So you don't believe he's guilty, right?
Not at all.
Okay, and so is Candace Owens implying he is?
Yes.
Oh, okay, so that's where you're saying she's going to lose credibility. Okay, got you. Okay.
It's not, I mean, there's a huge following they have for that. So this is a mistake that they're going to make. But like I said, hey, that's on them.
So what do you guys think of Ben Shapiro? Like, do you guys like him, not like him? Yay, okay, what?
I don't know. I don't think I like his stance on Jesus. Like he doesn't believe Jesus is as prominent as it says he is in the Bible.
I think Ben Shapiro is kind of a cuck. I think he's a shill. You know, he's had his position on media. He's like, you need media so you can have an opinion on the shit that media says, which makes that's secular fucking logic. It's stupid to me. But, you know, he's said some really, really dumb shit. You know, he takes advantage of the low-hanging fruit, which you and I could basically make those idiots look stupid. But, you know, that's how he's made his you know, wealth, I guess, is just by cherry-picking these brainwashed college students. But, like, he's, you know, for a while there, I've been off the Ben Shapiro. I've been calling him Ben Shapiro. So.
That's funny. Okay, what do y'all think of Charlie Kirk?
Man, you know, it's those Twitter guys. I don't really run in those circles. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
You know, so I don't really have an opinion one way or the other. I know that the media seem to like him so much, both sides, but I don't have a true opinion on him, so.
Okay. Yeah, I don't follow him all that much, really.
What about Brandon Tatum? Y'all guys like him?
Yeah, he's okay. Yeah, I like him all right.
I'm kind of meh on the guy. He can do good stuff, but, you know, he runs in those same circles, so it's like, you know. It's like a lot of these people ended up jumping on board on the bus after it started to become, you know, trendy to do. Like, I know that Dark Horse was, you know, one of those ones who was supporting Trump. And a lot of us here on YouTube were supporting Trump. Even to a degree, I think Bruce Blitz was supporting Trump. But a lot of people that made YouTube videos, because, of course, we're independent content creators, were on board with Trump and the Republicans for the most part. And a lot of these guys like Crowder, like Shapiro, started to really make a name for themselves during that period and marketing to guys like us. And, very few of them have kind of repaid back. I got to give Steven Crowder a little bit of respect, in that he's kind of taken up for, the independent content creators a little bit more.
What about Bruce Blitz? Whatever happened to that guy?
I think he retired again or something. Somebody sent me something and said he retired, but
Oh, he left social media?
I guess so. I don't know. That's just what I heard last.
I mean, he took his ball and went home.
To see
He
him
started his own, to CM Punk's house so they could have some tea together.
Yeah.
But yeah, but
he was always on John Cena. I used to.
He
love
always
that
talked
shit.
about how he knew CM Punk, and it's like the dude literally has one picture of him and CM Punk. But he left YouTube because they censored some of his videos and got his own website. And on his own website, he was treating his subscribers who were paying this motherfucker money. He was talking down to them, treating them like shit, censoring their comments, which is very fucking hypocritical. And then eventually he just pretty much deleted all of his wrestling videos and only talks about sports. That's the last I heard. But I'm friends with the Asylum guys, and they were like subscribed to his website, and they said he was treating them like shit. So yeah, it's pretty fucked up.
His rants against John Cena were the reason why I watched that shit. They were fucking epic. I remember when he beat Mark Henry at the Money in the Bank. I forgot what year that was. I think it was like 2014, 2015, or 2016, somewhere around there. And John Cena won, and his rant was just epic. He was like, if you fucking were justified in making John Cena the winner, you can grab that TV you have right and shove it right up your bitch ass. Like, he was fucking that guy had me in tears, man. That was the epic fucking rant, dude.
But he admitted later on that he didn't really hate John Cena as much as he let on. Well, and another thing to go into what I was saying about him censoring the comments, Poston will probably remember this. When we said Bret Hart wasn't really a draw in his comment section, you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Poston, do you remember when we told Bruce Bret wasn't really a draw? Yeah. And he fucking flipped out. He went off on us. I think he blocked us or something.
Yeah. Yeah. We were basically trolling. Well, what happened is, I think that was it. I think I said that Bret Hart wasn't that big of a draw, and then him and Mad Genius, and then they called us Daniel Bryan fans, which about this time we had started the fucking no movement and shit. And, I bet you this motherfucker's that was fucking Grit saying that shit. I bet you this motherfucker's a Daniel Bryan fan. He's like, no, he don't like Daniel Bryan. And it's like, shit.
You know who else he talked shit about? He compared John Cena to Lex Luger. He's talked shit about Lex Luger, and he talked shit about Nicolas Cage. He's like, Nicolas Cage, they put him over so fucking much. I'm tired of seeing that motherfucker. He's just like John fucking Cena.
And don't say anything. Compare LeBron to fucking Michael Jordan, and then just sit back and watch. Because that's fucking hilarious, dude. That's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, but you agree with him there, right?
Yeah, I agree that fucking LeBron, is no fucking Michael Jordan,
Well, it'd be a good video we can do, man. One day on one of y'all's channels, or hell, even on my StreamYard, we can cover the state of professional wrestling and talk about why wrestling is so lackluster and interesting. We can all put our perspectives in it, like what we used to like about it, things you may still like, things you don't like. How would you improve the company? Maybe we could do something like that, man, in the future, like sometime this week or something.
Oh, yeah. Sounds good.
That would be cool. That would be cool. Why not,
Yeah, I can do that.
These indie wrestlers are crying about how our bitch asses aren't showing up. You motherfuckers, Texas Indies wrestlers, y'all motherfuckers, and we're coming after you and stuff like that, calling you out. I'm like, all right, go ahead, call us out.
Well, when I think of the independent wrestlers nowadays. I just think of a watered down WCW cruiserweight division. You know, at least when the guys were smaller, but at least they had their own fucking division. You know, it
Facts.
wasn't Rey Mysterio skin and bones trying to go after the world title. You know, at main event the Starcade doing it. You know, and at least when Ray came to WWE, he did put on some muscle. You know, but
You
it's
know,
like,
you
I
know, my
mean,
brother
shit.
told me, he said as bad as WCW used to be, like towards the end, like he told me like the last 4 years of the company was really bad. He said, I would rather watch that than watch the wrestling that I've been seeing the last 15 years. I'm like, really? He's like, yeah. Like he's like, as bad as WCW got, their shows are actually better than the quality of the shows you're seeing now.
Aside from the bloodline stuff, the bloodline is like, it's pretty decent, you know,
Yeah,
pretty decent
I'll give him
storyline.
that.
But I mean, the LeBron comparison to Jordan would be like, you know, Roman's on a good run now, but I still don't think you could compare him to Hogan, man, because Hogan's popularity in the '80s was like, he was the man, you know, selling out these huge arenas, like over his fucking. There was the talent that was under Hogan, like the amount of talented wrestlers: Piper, Orndorff, Jake the Snake Roberts, Ted DiBiase, all the talented wrestlers that they had back then. That roster, I mean, this current roster doesn't compare. You know what I mean? So Roman sticks out in a roster that's pretty fucking weak, whereas Hogan was the man with a roster that was stacked.
Yeah, so you're making the Jordan comparison there. And like the Steven Roses effect, whenever he says that all these independent wrestlers are making fun of me at their live events, if only 3 or 4 people are showing up to the live events, do I really care what you fucking say about me? You know?
Facts. Yeah,
Hopefully
they're all
those
like on
people.
Facebook saying we're gonna start calling out the fans. I'm like, is this a work or is it no? This for real? We're gonna start calling y'all out now.
Call me out, motherfucker. I don't give a shit. I'm not going to show up.
They may have to start doing the Thunderdome, it sounds like, because if there's no fans there,
Yeah.
Yeah, saying we're ungrateful and stuff. You know, we put on the good wrestling, we bust our ass. I'm like, well, obviously the storylines aren't good enough. You got the same match card every time I show up. I said, what did you expect? And then you have woke storylines. I said, what the fuck is this, man?
oh really?
Yeah,
They're
I
doing the
fired
vote
back at
stuff?
them because they said, because I have a lot of them friends on my Facebook. And so, you know, because I used to go to their shows all the time, like 10 different promotions. I used to actually help try to promote their shit by recording and put it on my channel. And they had some great matches. I'm not arguing that. Then they fell off, and it's like, okay, here's the match card. It's the same matches. I'm like, y'all had that last month. Oh, well, we just didn't have time to go over it. So we're just going to run it back. And I'm like, okay, but people are going to get bored of that. And then they started doing transgender storylines and all this woke crap. And then they just started putting guys who couldn't even wrestle with cosplay gimmicks of other wrestlers. And I'm like, okay, well, this isn't the direction I thought the company was going to go in. And then they got so lazy, they started making managers wrestle each other. Like, yeah. And I just said, this is stupid. So I just said, if y'all aren't going to put any effort into your storylines, and then you're going to raise the prices on, you know, the food and vendor and all that, I said, yeah, your tickets are dirt cheap, and I'll give you that. But everything else is expensive, and it costs like $30 to buy one of your fucking woke T-shirts. I mean, what do you expect is going to happen? You know? So I fired at him. I started talking shit back to him, and I didn't let loose. They were all like, because they've been doing this for 3 months straight. Like, they'll take shots at the fans, talking about, well, I think the wrestling fans today are ungrateful. They're too lazy to show up. They have no loyalty, this, and that. No wonder why the WWE doesn't give a shit about y'all, because y'all don't care about the product. And I just let it go, and they just kept going on and on. And when wrestlers started saying y'all are ungrateful, I just said I got tired of it. I just said, they're like, oh, so you're speaking on their behalf? I'm like, absolutely. They're like, you're the only one that's complaining about it. I said, well, no, they are complaining about it too. They just don't give a fuck to tell you about it.
Oh, well, I'm not going to tell you to your face, because then I had to spend money that I'm not going to spend to tell it to your fucking face. Unless you're going to come to my fucking house so I can tell you to your face, shut the fuck up. Because I don't give a shit. If you can come to my house, you can say the shit to my face. We can throw down with your beer belly and your fucking some gimmick. and your fucking CM Punk shirt that says abortion rights is human rights, or the fucking Eddie Kingston shirt that says no lives can matter until Black Lives Matters, and all the stupid shit that you make up on your stupid fucking shirt. I don't give a shit. I'm not gonna go watch. I'm not gonna pay to watch your shit, and I don't care.
Facts. And I like the one guy. He's like, well, you are a Trump guy, aren't you? I said, yeah, but the Trump storyline you're going with, you're getting arrested after every show. I said, I know what you're doing. You're making fun of Trump, which I don't really care. But if you're gonna get all political like that, I'm not interested.
Yeah, it's not interesting. Nobody gives a fuck, and it's cheap. I see the shit every day on CNN. If I'm gonna watch wrestling, why do I want to see this shit again and like fucking wrestling product? It doesn't make any sense.
Facts.
It's just like the fucking Thor: Love and Thunder, right? Perfect fucking example. This is why I'm not watching any more comic book movies. It's because they're pushing the LGBTQ fucking shit and the fucking Disney shit, and I hear the shit all the time from the fucking left wing fucking whatever the fuck that you have with Adam's apples. Come on there and tell me, yeah, you accept that, and I don't care to see the shit in my Disney movie.
Facts, man. Yeah, I was watching this idiot's promo. Like, he had a promo, and he had like his little Trump flag, right, and the American flag, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna watch this guy. And then, like, not even like 5 minutes of promo, like somebody comes in there like, excuse me, they're like, Harold. He's like, yeah. He's like, the police are outside. They want to talk to you. I'm like, oh my god, are you fucking kidding me? What did I do this time? What did I get arrested for? I only rigged the first election. I said, you know what, man, I ain't watching this shit. So I unsubbed,
I mean, hey, Derek, if they want to do a Bill Clinton gimmick, would you fucking watch that shit back in the fucking 90s?
Oh, you got to admit, Zeb Coulter pulled it off pretty good. And then JBL beating the shit out of illegals crossing the border. Those were two examples that were pretty good, but...
Okay, and Orlando Bloom as his, they called him his personal slave.
but like, with the politics with AEW bringing Nyla Rose in, shit like that, yeah, it's like, no, I'm good. I don't need to see that garbage.
No, and it's funny how they're like, oh, you need to accept all this shit, and it's like, no, I really don't. And
didn't you say some producer had the nerve to tell you we all need to give it a chance? You're like, no, I'm not.
No, it was an actor. It was Scott Atkins, on a stock account on his account. No, I follow Scott Atkins. I like his shit. And the reason why I like your shit is because it's like the Van Damme stuff. It's masculine stuff. It's like the MMA shit. And that's why people watch your shit. But I was telling him, I'm like, yeah, I don't watch a lot of these movies now anymore because they're too fucking woke. And he's like, well, nobody gives these movies a chance. It's just probably not that. I gave that man a chance. I wasted 3 hours of my life to sit there and watch Woke Man and watch the fucking Pussycat wearing Catwoman and Batman simp over Catwoman. And,
she said, you're a pervert, Batman? You just staring at woman all day? Woke Man, he's sitting there licking his lips like,
Yeah, and fucking flying off the fucking bag and shit. The storyline being generic as all fuck.
These are your oppressors, and the camera looked at nothing but a bunch of white cops.
The fucking guys weren't white enough, Dark Horse, so they had to paint the guys even whiter than they already were. And this is how bad it fucking was. And whenever,
and then at the end, they said these are the real cops, and it was a bunch of Puerto Rican and black cops.
Yeah, and so like whenever you're watching this shit, I had to spend like $12 for the ticket. I bought some popcorn. It was a 3-hour-long movie. If I'd have known this shit, I wouldn't have went to go see it. I had to pay $8 or $10 for the popcorn. That's $22. $6 for the damn Coke, or was it $6 or $8 for that motherfucker?
Damn, $6 is a good discount.
It's either 6 or 8. It's whatever the hell it is for a Coke.
Is that for an extra small soda?
Yeah, you're paying about $40 per movie to watch this shit. And this is what I was trying to explain to the guy. And then after watching this 3-hour fucking movie, it's like, what am I doing with my life after I get through watching this thing? It's like, why the hell would I honestly, and they're like, well, you don't give it a chance. No, the whole deal is that we've given it a chance. We've been screwed over. We're tired of the shit. We'll wait for it to come through. Because if I watch the shit on HBO Max, I know if I'm going to like it or not. I could just go ahead and flip it off. not watching it.
And still save the $70 too.
Yeah, spend a lot of money. I could have been working these hours.
No, if you guys think that's bad, did y'all watch the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre? The new one came out last year. I watched it for the first time like 4 days ago. And right the first scene, there's, they got to have a black guy dating 4 white girls in a Texas town in the middle of nowhere. He gets pulled over. He's like, this is regentrification now. There's a new sheriff in town now, white boy. And I said, oh, my God. They go, the things are going to change. I know about your pro-Second Amendment gun laws. The things are going to change around here.
Yeah, that was on Netflix, I think, right?
And then right when they got to the town, he's like, I see a Confederate flag up there. You're going to have to take that down. Investors ain't going to buy it there. White boys, go over there, go take it down. He's like, I'll take it. Then he goes, here goes your Black Lives Matter flag, and throws the Confederate flag at it, which I thought that was kind of funny. I'm not going to lie. I did kind of laugh because they were referencing BLM for the Confederate flag. So I thought that was kind of funny. He kind of like threw it in his face. And then, of course, Leatherface comes and he's in a fucking dress with a wig on. So, yeah, they kind of had transgender or I think cross-dressing Leatherface. And then the 3 women came in there and they're part of the feminist Me Too movement. They're like, we've been looking for you, Mr. Misogynistic boy, for the last 30 years. Where you been hiding at, boy? You better run, boy. And then, of course, Leatherface runs from the 3 women. But, hey, they did put him over. He killed Tyrone. He killed most of the town. And then he also killed 2 of the Me Too girls. So I'll give him credit for that. They did put LBGTQ Leatherface over.
Yeah.
I mean, they put him over, so I'll give him credit for that.
What happens whenever you give all these diversity hires their little fucking crayons? They write stupid shit like that. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. And you could tell Tyrone in the movie, they were like, you gonna pay for it there. You think that white boy over there gonna pay for his past? You gonna pay for yours now there too, Tyrone. You gonna pay for it. What did I do? What did I do? You gonna pay for it there, boy, just like that white boy gonna pay now. You gonna pay too. Get on your knees, Tyrone. Get on your knees for Leatherface, for Wokeface. Get on your knees, boy.
Yeah, I just don't. I just don't see watching half the fucking shit that comes out right now. But yeah, so they're like, oh, well, you don't give it.
Candyman. Have y'all seen Candyman? I heard he just is a whole anti-white movie. The whole movie, the new Candyman.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go watch it in theaters. I didn't watch the fucking Black Panther movie neither. So, if that makes me a fucking racist, oh well. But yeah, I shouldn't have fucking did the shit with Thor Ragnarok.
I will give Hollywood credit. They used to put the black guy over now because I guess they got tired of killing him first in the 80s and 90s movies. He's usually the first to die. They kind of put him over the last 10 years, but now they're kind of burying him because the LBGTQ has moved in now and they got to get their spot. So Tyrone's kind of getting buried now,
Yeah.
He's a jobber.
That's what I say. These ideologies and stuff like that, it's kind of hard whenever you got to suck off everybody in your goddamn movie.
And remember, you were saying that earlier. You're like, BLM doesn't get along with LGBTQ. They don't get along, or this group don't get along. They're all inner fighting, and that's what you're seeing in these movies, believe it or not.
Yeah. So that means that if Hollywood's trying to incorporate a message out there to you, black male people who may be listening to this podcast, that means that y'all are going to be shit out of luck if it comes down between y'all and the LGBTQ P fucking movement.
Let me put it like this. When I watch a movie now, it feels like I'm kind of watching an episode of Raw, like a really bad Raw episode.
What do you think about all this diversity shit in the fucking entertainment industry, Dark Horse? Is he there?
Is he on?
Yeah, I don't know if he's there.
I'm here. Yeah. Can you hear me? I went out of the app, but I think they get mad right when Christians would preach, or they said that's too preachy for them. They don't want to hear about God and Jesus. When a Christian would come up to somebody on the streets and try to minister, teach about God, But what they're doing is way worse, dude. They're in every, like you just said, the movies. They're putting their fucking messages out there. Oh
They're
yeah,
in
it's
video
cool.
games too. They're in your schools.
You need to accept gay people. You need to accept transgender. That was the whole thing about putting it on Bud Light. And it's like they're trying to literally force it down people's throats. And there's people who, for religious beliefs, for logical beliefs, like I don't know, biology, they don't accept it because it's not realistic. It's not reality. And people just refuse to live in the bullshit world that some of these delusional, mentally ill people want to live in. So it's like, yeah, but when they start sticking it in the movies, that's where you're going to see these movies that don't make that much money because people don't want to see that shit. It used to be when we went and watched the movie because the movie was good. The movie was about entertainment. That's what I said before. The 90s wasn't about politics. Now it's the talk shows, everything, the movies, everything is about politics. It's about accepting transgender. And the transgender stuff all started under Obama because he married a dude. I mean, I'm just saying. I think
Yeah.
that's why, honestly.
Yeah, and I'll tell you something. Have y'all seen the new Left Behind? Rise of the Antichrist?
I haven't seen a Left Behind movie in a long time, so I haven't seen the new one.
Me too.
Tell me
The new one that just came out. The new one that just came out was done by Kevin Sorbo, and it is fucking great because it takes pop at every fucking body. It's fucking hilarious. I mean, you gotta watch it because the Cameron Williams, which is the main character of one of the main characters, is like basically he's like Tucker Carlson, and he just fucking calls it out shit all the fucking time. It's pretty solid, and you could tell that you could tell if you were to sit there and show that to a lefty, I'm telling you, you gotta watch it. It's fucking hilarious.
I think one of the most sickening things about all this LGBTQ is that you'll see the drag queens like shaking their butts in front of kids, and the kids putting dollar bills on them, and then from what I hear, they have these drag queens going to schools reading books about transgender people. Like, kids don't need to be taught that shit. Kids
that's
don't need to be.
Bullshit.
They don't need to be sexualized. And then I've seen people say, well, they're not sexual. Yeah, you are. You're trying to fucking sexualize kids. You're trying to get them to accept it from a young age when they don't need to be thinking about that shit. They don't.
Yeah, facts.
You're fucking polluting their minds from a young age, and it's wrong. So
they're
all
not
the
doing
bills
this in every school, are they? Are they doing this in every school?
No, I don't know about every school, but any school to me is too much. They need to just.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, honestly, they have the sex ed course, which is 8th grade. 8th grade when I was in 7th or 8th grade when I was in school. But they're doing some of this shit in elementary school, and it's like, slow it down. I mean, college, fine, you can do it in college, but keep that shit out of the middle schools and the high schools and all that. I feel like. And these fucking parents, and another problem, these parents that are letting their kids change their identities at a young age before they're 18. Then these kids get old enough to like, why the fuck did I do that? Why did my parent let me do that? They're fucked for life.
And I had to listen to like Six Exit Hammer, right? Because here in Texas, they're talking about putting up the 10 Commandments in the schools. And he goes, they're going against your First Amendment rights. I'm like, how does the fuck that go against your First Amendment rights? That doesn't make any goddamn sense. However, I'm sure you're not going to sit there and mention how these kids were taught about evolution and led to believe that evolution is something other than complete and utter fucking stupidity. You're fine with that. But now you're kind of triggered and say it's somehow an infringement on your rights. Look at all the shit that's going on in schools right now. The last thing that you need to be worrying about is Texas ruling on whether they should be able to put the 10 Commandments up. But one thing that I'll be going out there and saying that Six X and Hammer fails to mention because he's got to pretend like he's in the center. He's got to pretend like he's an independent and whatnot. So this is why he's going after it. But he doesn't mention that Texas is trying to go ahead and facilitate giving out $8,000 vouchers for you to be able to go and do private school choice. You know what I'm saying? So you can choose, where your kid gets their education at instead of relying on these institutions. Because we can see right now these teachers go on strike. They let these kids walk out for mud gun violence, mud climate change, abortion issues, transgender issue rights, and stuff like that. They let these kids walk out of the classroom for any little thing. And then these teachers claim we're not making enough money. Oh, because you get paid $45,000 a year with 3 months of vacation. That's not good. You get all this pensions and retirement and all these great benefits. Not enough for you. You need to go ahead and pay these teachers more. No, what we need to do is get rid of a lot of this fucking shit that we paid money for. The product is just coming out. You're producing a lot of communists that are suffering from anxiety, depression, suicidal tendencies. Now you're saying that you're going to encourage them to change their fucking gender or whatever the hell. Then you claim that, these schools are unsafe and all these mass shootings. Well, we could all this fucking shit. We could just go ahead and get rid of the public education system, and then we can go ahead and send our kids to smaller private schools around their own peers. Each kid learns at a different level and stuff like that. If it's too hard for you, then we can go ahead and we can fix the problem by just getting rid of the whole system altogether. You know what I'm saying?
Nice.
Yeah, get rid of the whole education system altogether. That's what you're saying, right?
Well, go to like a private market, because think about it. If you're a teacher, right, and you're working in one of these little public education systems, so first off, a lot of these teachers don't care. But let's say you can go ahead and open up your own personal business. You can go ahead and accept your own students on a case-by-case basis. Some kids learn slower, some kids learn faster. So if you want to go ahead and send a kid to a school that best fits his needs or whatever, you can do that with the government vouchers and stuff. But yeah, definitely get rid of the public education system, because right now, all it's doing is it's not putting out quality product anymore, especially ever since Obama implemented the Common Core shit. So, I say turn it all over to the private market. Allow these, teachers, allow the private market to go ahead and fix the discrepancies that have been coming out of the public education system, and just go ahead and get rid of the system altogether, because it's just become more, you're just going to continue have to pay more, you demand more. These damn administrators are making, these superintendents are making anywhere from like $218,000 a year. The average teacher makes about $40,000 a year, and then they're getting government pensions and all this government pay and stuff like that. So it's just going to keep on inflating. Send it back to the private market. Let the states handle it from a state perspective. Implement so much money into education. The states should be able to, like Florida, if they don't want fucking, transgender story hour in Florida, they shouldn't have to. If the fucking California wants to do that in their school system and continuously keep losing businesses and all these people are leaving California, go ahead. It'll eventually flip. It'll eventually turn back red. But,
Absolutely.
Texas should be able to do Texas stuff. If Texas wants to say we're not going to listen to these regulations that this insanity that California is trying to implement, we don't have to. We don't have to participate. That's why I like DeSantis a little bit better than Trump, is because fucking DeSantis is giving them the middle finger more, than our governor has. It's not going to produce anything. So yeah, absolutely 110%.
Who's the Rice Creek production? Y'all know, is that a troll, or y'all know who that is?
Damn, I was talking and I was muted. Fuck.
Who
I don't
is
know
that?
who that is. Oh, is that Scotty? What's his fuck? Scotty Hall?
That's Scotty Hall.
Is he all right? I
Yeah,
don't know. He was texting me some weird stuff before I blocked him.
yeah, he's been into like some weird stuff.
He said the what?
Been into some weird stuff. I think he gets into that creepypasta stuff, which is okay. I like some of the creepypasta.
Well, I would agree. I will agree with what you said about the schools, because when you think about it, in a way, that was the beginning of turning this country as anti-Christian as it is, when they kicked prayer out of school. That was one of the beginning stages. As far as when you look back at, I would say, somewhat recent history in the past, 50 years or so. Um, so yeah, I mean, I would say like going the private route might actually be a better way to do it, so you don't have to go by all this bullshit that they try and pull. It's like the same thing with the LGBTQ, and they're just trying to fuck up society. They've been trying to do that in school systems for as long as I've been alive, even longer than I've been alive. And it's sad that they use kids to do it. It really is. But I guess their thinking is that's the future, and they're gonna.
And I would say it's gotten worse, if anything.
It's just like that Greta. What's that? Even though she's not from here, Greta Thunberg. They're trying to use a child there to talk about global warming or
climate change.
Yeah, they changed it, global warming to climate change. But
she said I should be in. She said I should be in school. I'm like, instead of talking about this shit, and I'm like, yeah, well, when you go to school, that's what they talk about.
You're right. Exactly. And
that's the problem.
And the fact that you have grown, college-educated adults thinking that she makes sense, like, get the fuck out of here. Y'all need to go back to school.
I'm afraid they did go back to school. It's indoctrination.
Maybe they need to go to what Polson's talking about, the private schools, where they're not like running with their damn narratives. It's like, yeah.
Yeah, where you have to learn the science, not whatever the fuck they tell you. You got to accept this guy's a biological female now. Whatever the fuck they do.
But then what they do is they hire these scientists, which you already know. The media or the government hires scientists, quote unquote scientists, to run with their narrative. So even then, it's like the science it's really flawed, because you're not going off of what should be real science. You're running with a narrative, making shit up and claiming that it's science.
Are y'all talking about Dr. Fauci?
No, I'm talking in general over the years, when they've tried to use scientists to back up claims, like, about the climate change, or even with the transgender stuff. It's like they use these, and I would say they're actors more so than actual scientists, but they'll bring them on CNN or wherever to run their narrative and claim that it's a legitimate scientist.
Yeah, and that's all crazy about like the guys going into the woman's bathroom. That's like, oh wow, so like that's all I have to do is put on a dress and heels and makeup, and I could just walk in the woman's bathroom. Like, it's fucking crazy, dude.
Yeah, back in the day, that there wouldn't be no thinking about it. The man would walk in there and beat the fuck out of that clown.
Oh, a group of people would walk in and drag you out.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would get dragged the fuck out.
That's what I'm saying. They've been brainwashing. They've been brainwashing kids for longer than we probably realize in schools. Like, taking prayer out, because what happens when they take prayer out of school? That takes out a lot of the morals, that are taught, through the Bible, like don't steal, don't kill, the 10 Commandments. I can't list them all, sadly. But when they start taking that away, and then you split up the households, and it's a single mother raising kids, there's not that father figure there to lay the hammer down, to lay the law down. And what's that going to create? Well, that's going to create spoiled brats that grow up, and now you see them in all throughout the streets. Every time they throw their little tantrum, burning buildings to the ground. That's what's been created.
Yeah, and that's what I was trying to tell, because you can't have standards without principles. You know what I'm saying? And this is what I put on Stick this fucking video whenever he made it. The Bible, regardless of what you think of the Bible, Christianity, that's where this nation gets its principles from. The Ten Commandments is where that's the foundation for the principles in this country. And you may not like it. I don't give a shit. You can be as pagan as you want to fucking be. That's fine. I don't care. But at the end of the day, before you can have standards, you have to have principles first. And you see what I'm saying there? And that's why we don't have any standards.
Straight fire.
We don't have any standards. That's why there's no fucking standards. Go ahead.
You know the lady that got prayer removed from school? You know the lady that got it removed from school, right? You remember that?
I don't know who was that. You can go ahead and
go. Do you guys know what happened to her?
No.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
She was murdered.
Wow.
That's interesting.
I'm gonna look it up. Because I remember
I want to ask you real quick. You said that in order to have standard, you have to have principle. Could you go a little into that? What do you mean by principle?
Well, you have to have principles. There has to be some morality there, some objective morality. You know what I'm saying? Something outside of you. There has to be something outside of you to give you standards. Like, thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not commit adultery. This is where we get the foundation. The principles of this country are, regardless of what anybody says, they'll sit there and say, well, the founding fathers weren't Christian. It doesn't matter if they were fucking Christian or not. You get your principles from the Bible. That's what that's where the principles come from of this country. It is a Christian nation, regardless if you want to accept that or not. So the sheer fact that you're going to have the Ten Commandments in the fucking school, I don't want to hear it from some pagan.
So in other words, you can almost apply that to today's standards, where you see people having standards, and your response to that is, well, then live by principle then.
Well, my whole deal is that you got to, standards come from principles. So, you have to sit there and, our biblical principle says that a man shall not lay with another man as he does with a woman and stuff like that. That's where our principles come from. And it served us very, very well for the better part of the history of this fucking country. But ultimately, that doesn't work well with the fucking commies who want to come in and implement their own ideology and their own fucking self-worship and their self-aggrandizing and shit. But did you find that Dark Horse? Are you still here? Because I know he's going to talk about that lady that got prayer removed.
Yeah, I think he's still looking up the info. Who did you say that Scotty Hall guy was? Is he part of the YWC or is he just a troll?
Yeah, he was a part of the YWC, but he was gone for a while.
Is he a cool guy or what?
Yeah, he's okay. He's not too bad. He just, I don't know. I think he thinks that this is still like 2013 YouTube, and it's entirely different now. It's not as like
her name is Madeline Marie O'Hare, but I can't read what it says. So, because if I go out, you won't be able to hear me. But yeah,
can you send the link to Polston, or can you send it to him?
I'll do that.
Yeah, well, I may not be able to read it either, but that's fine. But basically, you said that she was murdered.
Not only she was murdered in Texas, San Antonio. So in '95,
wow.
Kidnapped and murdered. So they, from what I remember from the show, they tied her up, they tortured her, and they killed her. So I'm not laughing because it's funny. I'm just, it's because I saw it happen in Texas, and like what she did was a fucked up thing. I'm not saying that she deserved to die, but I do remember. I don't remember if it was Forensic Files or it was one of those true crime shows that I watched where I saw that they were talking about it, and I was like, wow, that's the lady that got prayer taken out of school. But I'm gonna try to find an article.
That's what you call ironic, right?
I think this is it, right? This one will work.
No, I'll probably have to read. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I don't want one where they're praising her as some kind of a good person.
I'm curious, Prodigal, what days do you have off this week? Because I would like you and Dark Horse maybe to cover, the state of wrestling and things you liked about it growing up and why it's gotten to the points where people are disinterested in it, rather it's indies. When do you think you got the time? Would it be the weekend?
It'd be Friday or Saturday.
Okay, works for me. What about you, Dark Horse? Would you be okay with that?
Any day, any day's good with me.
Okay.
I can
Well, we can
work
definitely
around
schedule
anything.
something. Okay, Friday or Saturday is good with me, and then I'm still just going to do my BS topics till till that day comes around, just to keep my subscribers all still watching.
Yeah, I just kind of wanted to do because, like I said, Dark Horse was talking about the state of YouTube, and I thoroughly agreed with everything that you said in that comment. And I was like, yeah, I've been feeling that way for a while. Like I said, that's why I'm.
You remember when you remember when I said that the Super Bowl was rigged, the Chiefs and the Eagles, dude? I had like at least 150 people watching my stream. Like I never would have thought that even as a shadow banned channel that would have happened. Like I literally had 150 people on my stream at one time. Like I was shocked.
Yeah, my best number was like 60, so that beats my best number. That's good.
And that was just a one-time deal. Like if I have a real good title that's kind of trending, I could get probably, maybe 15 to 25 people in there. But usually on a typical night between maybe 7 and 10.
Well, that's good, especially if it's not drama related. That means you can get people's attention and keep it without having to go the drama route.
Yeah, I
So,
posted
I
a video
know
where I'm
you
just
don't
sitting at the lake.
you don't do a lot of
Right.
drama, so
Yeah, we definitely us three work good together, man. We got to do another show like this, man.
did you get that link post when I sent it to you? It was saying, I don't know about the website, but it pretty much talks about the whole thing there. You can read it. And I'm not saying read it on air, but at least whenever you get a chance to look at it.
Yeah, I might read it a little bit. And in fact, I'm probably fixing to wrap this up because I got to get up early in the morning and go into work. So,
Yeah.
and
All right, well, hey, Prodigal, man, y'all got a Dark Horse. I'm on your Facebook.
Well, actually, it wasn't just her that they kidnapped. They kidnapped her and some of her family, like maybe her sons. Yeah, I think we're on.
Yeah, I
Friends
think
on
I
Facebook.
re-added you recently, and I added you on Instagram too. I don't know if you accepted me.
All Instagram's good for is like I don't really stay on there. I just get a lot of fake women sending me messages, and I'm like, block, block, block.
I get like a bunch of them, and then I'll accept some of them if I can see their posts and shit. I'll accept them because I'm gonna assume that they're females that post shit. But whenever it's private, it's like, yeah, I'm not going to. So it's like fucking, I don't get on, fucking interact with anybody. So
Yeah.
I'll accept whatever the fuck, If I can see your shit, then I'll accept you. But if I can't see your shit, then I'm not accepting you. Sorry.
So is the Scotty Hall guy Dark Horse? Is he pretty cool or what?
I think he needs to go see a psychiatrist, to be honest. But he used to be cool. He used to be a cool guy. I don't think he's right in the head. And I'm not saying that to be mean.
Kind of weird.
I'm not saying that to be mean. He's just I had added him on Messenger and he was talking crazy. So I had to take him off.
Yeah. Yeah.
It had nothing to do with LGBTQ stuff, was it?
No, just LGBT crazy stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well then, yeah, maybe it's good. I don't. Yeah, maybe it's good he doesn't have my channel, so we're good.
I mean, some of the shit I didn't even know what he was talking about. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just pray for him.
Yeah.
He used to make videos or what?
Yeah, he'd be like, Danielson 184, please have a seat. Wrestling Jesus, please have a seat. He actually had a good little gig going there, but so yeah, I mean he's I don't know, he hadn't made videos in a while, at least that I know of.
Yeah. Yeah, he is one of the YWC guys.
Okay. Yeah. Well, he might end up being cool. I don't know. I mean, I don't really know him.
When he acts right, he's pretty cool. But when he goes crazy, it's hard to deal with him. Like
All right,
if we
so
had
Friday
him,
or Saturday?
if we had him in here, he probably wouldn't shut up. I'm just being honest. Well, you know, Poston, last time you had him on, you had to literally mute him to get a word in.
Really?
Sorry,
Yeah.
Scotty, that's just the facts, dude.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, he's probably in the comment section, but I'm away from my phone because it's plugged into the wall right now.
Yeah, he's
But,
in there, right? Oh,
yeah. So that's why I'm not posting up the comments on the comment section right now, as I'm away from my phone. But,
He's
yeah.
cussing me out. I don't
yeah,
Is he-
Prodigal, I know you're about to go to sleep. Hey, man, this was a fun podcast, 2 hours and 35 minutes. This was a great conversation. And Saturday, Sunday, we'll do it on Friday or Saturday, we'll do it on my channel with the whole wrestling thing. What do you think?
that sounds good.
You're a whore. Is that the right thing, Scotty? Shut the fuck up.
So, yeah. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and end this podcast. You people like, share, do the shit YouTube tells us to do to get over. And for now, I'm out.
All right. Peace.